Chapter 355. Ning Fan carried Gusu on his shoulder and continued to chase after Luo Senator. His eyes were calm and his steps were steady and powerful. He did not pay much attention to the incident where he rushed into the purple primordial sea and shocked Suotong. Instead of explaining 100 reasons to the purple charm sect, it was better to crush the formation light that blocked his path. In order to make the domineering purple charm sect lower its head, what he needed was not a touching reason but a strength that no one would dare to stop. Not only did he want to let the external endless sea know that he had returned, but he also wanted to let everyone know that he was not someone to be trifled with. Luosen seemed to be purposely escaping towards the route of the 10 sects, trying to stop Ning Fan with the experts of the 10 sections. No one knew how far this cunning Raoshan devil lord had already escaped. Ning Fan was not in a hurry. In front of him, the floating islands where the forces were stationed appeared one after another. Occasionally, he would encounter some sea-sealing formations set up by the islands. However, he would forcefully break through all of them. Even the formation light of the purple charm sect could not stop him. How could ordinary forces stop him? Pengwang Island, Xiang family. In the external endless sea, the Xiang family was once an unparalleled force. With Xiang Liao, who was a half-step divine transformation realm expert, almost no one in the 10 sects and 3 islands dared to offend the Xiang family. It was a well-deserved first-rate force. However, as 17 experts of the Xiang family including Xiang Liao died tragically in the Pill Cauldron Gate, the Xiang family's status in the external endless sea had plummeted. Being hunted by the Pill Cauldron Gate and their old enemies, the Xiang family declined all the way. 20 years later, the once prosperous Xiang family had already fallen to a third-rate force. In the Elders' Hall, 7 Gold Core realm experts of the Xiang family were sitting and discussing. At the highest seat, there was an old man at the early nascent soul realm. Currently, the Xiang family only had 7 Gold Core realm experts and 1 nascent soul realm expert left. That nascent soul realm expert had forcefully increased his cultivation realm using a secret technique. He was just there to keep up appearances. His combat power was really low. The 7 Gold Core realm experts were discussing whether to join the Alliance of Ming Assassins. The Alliance of Ming Assassins existed to assassinate Zhou Ming. The biggest enemy of the Xiang family was also Zhou Ming. If they could rely on the Alliance of Ming Assassins and climb up the tree of the Alliance, the Xiang family might have a chance to rise again. Family head, in my opinion, the ferocious devil Zhou Ming has already returned to the outer endless sea, and the Ming Assassin Alliance is getting restless. They're preparing to destroy this devil, and they're in need of manpower. If my Xiang family joins the Alliance, it's no different from hugging a big tree. There's no need to hesitate on this matter. An advanced stage Golden Core realm cultivator stood up, cupped his fists, and spoke with confidence and composure. His words caused the other 6 Golden Core realm cultivators of the Xiang clan to nod in agreement. You can't. The old nascent soul cultivator, who had been silent all this time, slowly opened his eyes. His face was filled with the vicissitudes of life. He was the only remaining nascent soul cultivator in the Xiang clan and he was the current clan master of the Xiang clan. Why? The main responsibility of the patriarch was the prosperity of the clan. Could it be that family head is reluctant to give up control of the Xiang family? The late-stage Golden Core cultivator questioned. If they joined the alliance, the Xiang family would naturally be taken over. This was the price of hugging a big tree. Seeing that the nascent soul realm old man didn't agree to join the alliance, the late Golden Core realm cultivator thought that the old man was being selfish. What a joke! Why would I care about the patriarch position of a declining family? The reason why I'm against joining the alliance is just because I'm afraid of one person. The alliance wants to assassinate Zhou Ming. They're just courting death. I heard that Devil Lord Zhou Ming has already reached the divine transformation realm. What I mean is that if our Xiang clan doesn't want to destroy the last of our bloodline, we must not become enemies with Zhou Ming. A hint of fear flashed across the eyes of the nascent soul realm old man as if he was recalling the tragic incident in the past. His words made each of the Gold Core realm cultivators of the Xiang clan sink into contemplation. Those who had never seen Ning Fan killing people mercilessly would never know how ferocious the name, Zhou Ming, was. On that day, no one in the Pill Cauldron Gate expected that the half-step divine transformation realm Xiang Liao would die. However, the 17 experts of the Xiang clan died in Zhou Ming's hands so easily. Zhou Ming, who is at the nascent soul realm, is invincible in the external endless sea. We can't afford to offend him who is at the divine transformation realm, the old man asserted. The late-stage gold core realm cultivator's eyelids twitched. As a matter of fact, he had secretly joined the alliance a long time ago. That was why he tried his best to persuade the Xiang clan to join the alliance. Even if Zhou Ming is at the divine transformation realm, the alliance has more than 10 divine transformation realm cultivators. He still needed to continue persuading the old man. At the next moment, the entire Pengwang Island shook violently as if it was being rammed by some ferocious beast. The 8 experts of the palace immediately turned into rays of light and left the palace. Their faces were filled with shock and uncertainty. The sea where the Pengwang Island was located was filled with turbulent currents. In the past, there would occasionally be sea beasts that were affected by the currents and crashed into the foundation of the island. If a gold core realm sea beast crashed into the island, it would only tremble slightly for a moment before stopping. If a nascent soul realm sea beast crashed into the island, it would shake for a few breaths. However, after a few breaths, the shaking would definitely stop. However, this time, the shaking of the island was too intense. It was as if the Pengwang Island was about to be crushed into 2 halves by something. As soon as the 8 experts left the palace, they scanned their surroundings. At the next moment, what they saw and heard was something that they would never forget for the rest of their lives. They saw a 3,000 zhang tall giant carrying an island that was a few times larger than the Pengwang Island on its shoulder. The force of that step was too heavy. Half of the Pengwang Island was crushed and sank into the sea. Ji Giant. Who is this man? He crushed half of the island with a single step. His cultivation base is too terrifying. The late gold core realm cultivator's face turned pale with fright. If this giant is here to annihilate the Xiang clan would definitely be destroyed. He is Zhou Ming. Look at him. Do you still think that joining the alliance of Ming assassins is the right choice? The nascent soul realm old man took a deep breath and closed his eyes helplessly. At the moment when his eyes met the giant's, his nascent soul almost collapsed as if it was pierced by a sword. Even if ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators could instantly kill a nascent soul realm cultivator, they would not be able to make someone's nascent soul collapse with just a glance. How could the old man not understand that Ning Fan was definitely not an ordinary divine transformation realm cultivator after he attained the divine transformation realm? Impossible. Even the divine transformation realm old ancestors of the Yingzhou Immortal Island can't transform into such a huge body. The late gold core realm cultivator was filled with fear. The same expression also appeared on the faces of the other 6 gold core realm cultivators and the thousands of cultivators of the Xiang clan. Fortunately, the giant was just passing by Pengwang Island and did not kill anyone. This made the cultivators of the Xiang clan heave a sigh of relief. Xiang Qi, as you can see, Zhou Ming cannot be offended. I know that you have secretly joined the alliance of Ming assassins. However, I'm just reminding you that if you try to put the Xiang clan in danger again, I will kill you instantly. The nascent soul realm old man's eyes flashed with cold light. He would never allow anyone to provoke Ning Fan. The Xiang clan had declined, but at least it was not destroyed. The old man could not let the Xiang clan perish in his hands. Hengshan Island in the Black Reef Sea. Hengshan Island was an unlucky island. There was an unlucky sect on the island called the Eternal Clouds sect. The old ancestor of Hengyun was even more unlucky. His name was Wang Heng. Wang Heng was an early gold core realm cultivator. More than 30 years ago, he was already an early gold core realm cultivator. Even now, he was still an early gold core realm cultivator. Even though his innate talent was not high, he had almost reached the peak of the early gold core realm in the past. However, more than 30 years had passed and he had yet to break through to the mid-gold core realm. Moreover, he had once obtained a gold core realm Dao fruit. After consuming it, his magic power had almost reached the late gold core realm. However, because of the shadow in his heart, he could not break through to the mid-gold core realm. His heart had been scarred by an earth-shattering battle 30 years ago. On that day, a mad devil named Zhou Ming killed 3 nascent soul realm cultivators of the demon sealing sect on Hengshan Island and protected Yin Suqiu. Wang Heng was suffering. In the stone chamber, he tried to break through to the gold core realm again, but he still failed. He could not help but complain inwardly. Senior Zhou Ming, if you want to kill someone, just kill them. Why did you come to my island to kill them? You killed someone and ran away. As a result, the experts of the demon sealing sect died on my island. I don't know how many times the people of the demon sealing sect have investigated me. If it wasn't because I'm not related to you in any way, and if it wasn't because I offered a lot of immortal jade as a bribe, I would have been long dead and the Hengyun sect would have been annihilated. Senior Zhou Ming, I'm doomed because of you. Now that you've become the strongest expert of the external endless sea, I'm always on tenterhooks. I'm afraid that someone will find out that I'm related to you and I'll be killed. Wang Heng's wrinkled face turned into a bitter gourd and he sighed continuously. At this moment, the Hengshan Islands suddenly shook violently. "Oh old ancestor, something bad has happened." A Taoist child rushed into Wang Heng's stone chamber in a panic. "What's so noisy about? What's so bad about it? Is there another expert from the high sect who came to ask for a bribe?" Wang Heng walked out of the main hall impatiently. As soon as he stepped out of the door, what he saw and heard almost scared him to the point of wetting his pants. A 3,000 zhang tall purple-armored giant was walking on the sea while carrying a huge island as if there was no one else around. Oh my god! Such a huge giant! What's his cultivation base? No, this person's chi is very familiar. He's Zhou Ming. Wang Heng's wrinkled face was on the verge of crying. "Senior Zhou, you can't bully me like this. You're here again. You've implicated me again. Now that you're being hunted by the Ming Assassin Alliance, I can't be implicated by you. Besides, when you left the island that day, I was the one who helped you to destroy the evidence. When others came to investigate your background, I didn't betray you at all. You can't bite the hand that feeds you." Seeing that the purple-armored giant was about to crush the island, Wang Heng closed his eyes in despair and murmured incessantly. As for the giant, it seemed to have heard his words. Suddenly, he stopped in his tracks. His cold eyes swept across the island as if he had recalled something. He stared at Wang Heng without saying a word. A moment later, he pointed a finger and a ray of black light shot towards Wang Heng. Then, he took a step forward and disappeared without a trace, leaving only a sentence behind. "Seeing that you're my old friend, I'll grant you a fortune." After the black light entered Wang Heng's body, it made his body tremble. The shadow in his heart slowly disappeared. It was as if Ning Fan had helped him break through the bottleneck with his great magic power. Wang Heng was stunned. He was shocked. That was just a casual point of his finger. However, he could actually help someone break through the bottleneck. Rumor has it that only old monsters who have attained the Void Inquiry stage or above can borrow the power of the Void to help juniors break through the bottleneck of their immortal veins. Could it be that this senior Zhou Ming is actually a Void Refinement Realm cultivator who has passed the Void Inquiry stage test before? Wang Heng was stunned. He felt that the way he walked out of the main hall must be wrong. Is senior Zhou Ming really that powerful? I'm really lucky to have a relationship with a Void Refinement Realm senior. Wang Heng seemed to have become more courageous. He was no longer afraid of the Demon Sealing Palace and the Ming Assassin Alliance. There was only one thing that he had to do now. It was to go into seclusion as soon as possible and prepare to break through to the late Gold Core realm. Chapter 356. To Ning Fan, old ancestor Wang Heng was just a passerby. Casually helping him get rid of the shadow in his heart was already a great favor, so it was impossible for him to give him any other benefits. To Ning Fan, that finger attack was insignificant. But to Wang Heng, the power of the void in that finger had helped him open the way to the late stage of the Gold Core realm. The power of the void. Void inquiry stage cultivators can help low-leveled cultivators resolve their inner demons. If my master had a void refinement realm cultivation base in the past, he would certainly help me eliminate my inner demons and form my gold core. Also, I might not necessarily need to come to the external endless sea. Putting aside the forces of the endless sea, the heavenly tribulations of the rain world, the heavenly tribulations of the sword world and even the stronger heavenly prides of the four heavens naturally have void refinement realm cultivators to help them resolve their inner demons. This is also the reason why their cultivation speed far exceeds that of ordinary people. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with emotions. The so-called Heaven's Chosen Ones not only have outstanding innate talents and excellent cultivation methods but also have a strong background that can provide pills, trials, and resolve the Heart Devil. Early Void Refinement Realm cultivators were also known as Void Glimpse Stage cultivators. They had just begun to comprehend the power of the void but were still unable to completely control it. The Mid-Void Refinement Realm was also known as the Void Inquiry Stage cultivators. After going through the Void Inquiry stage, one would be able to freely control the power of the void and use it to help the juniors resolve their inner demons. Late Void Refinement Realm cultivators were also known as Void Pierce Stage cultivators. The peak of the Void Refinement Realm was also known as the Absolute Void cultivators. With the help of Void Inquiry Stage cultivators to get rid of their heart devils, the cultivation speed of those heavenly geniuses was naturally something that mortals could never hope to achieve. Ning Fan did not have the help of a powerful background and he did not have superhuman innate talents. Before attaining the Divine Transformation Realm, his Yin-Yang transformation cultivation method did not display any great power. However, he had stubbornly walked step by step to where he was today. Not only did he rely on opportunities, but he also relied on his ruthlessness to stain the world with blood. You hit me once, I'll hit you 10 times. If you destroy one of my realms, I will destroy 10 of yours. Most of his Dharma treasures and spirit herbs were obtained from killing and fighting. In his entire life, he refused to submit to any power. Be it the Ming Assassin Alliance, the Immortal Abode Island, or the Demon Sealing Sect. The purple-armored giant that Ning Fan had transformed into traveled all the way to the east. 1,000,000 li behind him were countless cultivators who were chasing after Ning Fan with all their might, hoping to head to the Immortal Island in the Ying province to watch the show and search for opportunities. Ning Fan did not pay attention to those people who followed him. His eyes were fixed on an island in the distance. His eyes flashed with a cold light. This island was called Saint Suppressing Island, and there was only one sect on the island. It was one of the 10,000 Seas sects and 3 islands, Xuanda sect. Luo Sen's panicked silhouette escaped from Xuanda sect and headed towards the east. After he left, tens of thousands of cultivators suddenly soared into the sky above the Xuanda sect. They stared at the giant that Ning Fan had transformed into with murderous intent. Ning Fan carried Gusu Island on his shoulder. After breaking through countless layers of waves, he stopped walking 1,000 li away from the Saint Subduing Island. It was because as soon as he stepped into this place, countless snow-white formation lights suddenly rose from the sea region within 1,000 li. They turned into ice and snow dragons and firmly entangled his feet, restraining him. Peak Transcendent Rank Grand Formation Sacred Ice Dragon Formation. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. The Xuanda sect actually attacked him. Moreover, judging from how Luo Sen stayed on the island for a while, the reason why Xuanda sect attacked him was probably because of Luo Sen's instructions. Since you're all cultivators of the outer endless sea, I'll give you a chance. Remove the formation within 3 breaths, and I will pretend that nothing has happened. Otherwise, not a single blade of grass will be left in Xuanda sect. Ning Fan's tone was cold. His eyes scanned through each of the cultivators of the Xuanda sect. Among this group of cultivators, the leader was an old man wearing a ceremonial robe. He was dressed in the style of an ancient Confucian scholar, and his eyes were narrowed. His expression was arrogant, and his body exuded the vast aura of an early-stage soul formation cultivator. This person was the Xuanda sect's divine transformation realm patriarch, Lu Xian. Around Lu Xian stood 19 nascent soul cultivators, each of them breathing heavily. Among this group of nascent soul realm cultivators, a mid-nascent soul realm middle-aged man was staring at Ning Fan with a gloomy expression. He was the vice sect lord of the Profound Virtues sect, Zhao Yi. His cultivation level of the mid-nascent soul realm may not be worth mentioning, but his other identity must be mentioned. Zhao Yi was the father of Zhao Zijing. Zhao Zijing had once offended Ning Fan because of Su Qiuling and was killed by Ning Fan. Because of this incident, the reputation of the Profound Virtues sect was greatly damaged. In the past, old ancestor Lu Xian was even more reluctant to take revenge because of Ning Fan's ferocious reputation. But now, the alliance of Ming assassins had been established with the support of the demon Sealing Hall. When Daoist Purple Gu first came to Lu Xian and promised him great benefits, Lu Xian was moved and led the Profound Virtues sect to join the alliance of Ming assassins. Today, the assassin of the alliance, Luo Sen, passed by Xuanda's sect and asked them to delay Ning Fan. Lu Xian only hesitated for a moment before agreeing to it. Old ancestor, is it inappropriate for us to offend Zhou Ming like this? One of the nascent soul realm elders of Xuanda's sect was a little scared. He had no choice. Ning Fan's baleful qi was too strong. He could not help but be afraid of it. What are you afraid of? Luo Sen said that this Zhou Ming is just an early-stage soul formation realm cultivator. Luo Sen, a mid-soul formation realm cultivator, is being chased by Zhou Ming everywhere. Judging from this Zhou Ming is probably a special existence who possesses the combat power of a mid-soul formation realm cultivator when he is just an early-stage soul formation realm cultivator. I might not be a match for him in a one-on-one battle. However, in the territory of my Profound Virtues sect, I have the sacred suppressing ice dragon formation. Why would I be afraid of him? However, this Zhou Ming has a 3000 zhang physical body. Perhaps he is already at the peak soul formation realm. Bullshit. Indeed, only a cultivator at the peak of the soul formation stage could have a body of 3000 feet. But think about it, 20 years ago, this person was still at the nascent soul stage. 20 years later, it was already shocking that he could break through to the early stage of the soul formation stage. How could he have reached the peak of the soul formation stage? Above the soul formation stage, every step was extremely difficult. This person could not be at the peak of the soul formation stage. He's only an early-stage soul formation cultivator. Lu Xian sneered. He was not a fool. Since he dared to help Luo Sen stop Ning Fan, he naturally had already considered the worst-case scenario. The worst-case scenario that he considered was Ning Fan breaking through to the early divine transformation realm within 20 years and his combat power would reach the terrifying mid-divine transformation realm. Ordinary people couldn't reach the soul formation stage in 20 years, and ordinary early-stage soul formation cultivators couldn't even reach the mid-stage. Lu Xian thought that he had already overestimated Ning Fan. He definitely did not believe that Ning Fan was some peak divine transformation realm expert. I can't be wrong. Ning Fan's 3000 zhang physical body and the island on his shoulder were all illusionary techniques. They were just paper tigers to scare others. He would not be stupid enough to risk his life to fight Ning Fan. In the territory of his Xuanda sect, there was a sect guarding formation. He would be a fool if he did not use it. It was the peak divine transformation realm grand formation, the sacred ice dragon formation. Rumor has it that the first-generation old ancestor of Xuanda sect, Reverend Fu Sheng, was a late divine transformation realm expert. He was even more proficient in formation techniques. The sect guarding formation that he set up could even resist a peak divine transformation realm expert. Lu Xian firmly believed that with this formation, even if Ning Fan was really a mid-divine transformation realm expert or even a late divine transformation realm expert, he would certainly be trapped on Xuanda Island by Lu Xian and be slaughtered by him. Ning Fan gave Lu Xian 3 breaths to apologize. However, Lu Xian had already successfully trapped Ning Fan. How would he let Ning Fan leave the formation and apologize? The one with the surname Zhou, don't you dare be so arrogant. You have already been trapped by the grand formation of my Xuanda sect's old ancestor. Even if you have 3 heads and 6 arms, you won't be able to escape from this formation. Humph. What did you say about leaving no one alive in Xuanda sect? Who do you think you are? 3 breaths? It's still unknown whether you can live for more than 3 breaths. What you don't know is that apart from our old ancestor, we have the saint-subduing grand formation and the ocean-suppressing nether king in our Xuanda sect. You will die in an instant. Seeing that Ning Fan was trapped by the formation light without being able to break free, the cultivators of Xuanda's sect gradually became more confident. Each of them revealed a look of excitement. What bullshit old ancestor revered Ming? How dare he come to Xuanda's sect and behave atrociously? Isn't he still trapped by the formation light? He will still be slaughtered by the Xuanda sect. On Gusu Island, Uncle Chi, Wang Si, and the other nascent soul realm experts' expressions changed drastically when they saw Ning Fan being trapped by the grand formation. Especially Uncle Chi, who was a mid-grade divine transformation realm formation master. He could tell that the saint-subduing ice dragon formation was extraordinarily powerful with just a glance. I can't see through it. I can't see through it. Even with Uncle Chi's cultivation base in the Tao of formations, he actually could not see through the eye of the formation. Nis Chioling. This is a peak divine transformation realm grand formation. Even a peak divine transformation realm expert would be in danger if he or she falls into this formation. Quickly ask your husband to leave this formation. Uncle Chi said anxiously. There's no need. Big brother will be fine. He didn't give the Xuanda sect 3 breaths out of kindness. In fact, he was secretly trying to break the formation. Big brother probably only needs 3 breaths to break this formation. After 3 breaths, if the Xuanda sect doesn't repent, this sect will certainly be annihilated. Su Qiuling's eyes flashed with intelligence. She was a smart girl. She could see through Ning Fan's true intention with just a glance. That's right. Even though this saint-subduing ice dragon formation was powerful, Ning Fan had already seen through all the eye of the formation with his cultivation base in the Tao of formations. He only needed 3 breaths to break this formation. Traces of magic power flowed into the formation light. The eye of the formation was secretly collapsing. However, the Xuanda sect did not know about it at all. 1. Ning Fan uttered coldly. 1 breath had passed. Lu Xian's heart skipped a beat. Ning Fan was obviously trapped in the formation. Why was he still so calm? Could it be that Ning Fan really has the confidence to break this peak divine transformation realm grand formation? Does he really have the confidence to wash the saint-subduing island with blood? 2. Ning Fan's tone gradually became colder. His voice was so calm. He did not sound like an expert who was trapped in a grand formation and was about to die in an instant. Could it be that I have missed something? Impossible. I have already overestimated Zhou Ming and treated him as a mid-divine transformation realm old monster. Could it be that his strength is even higher than that? Could it be that he is really a peak divine transformation realm cultivator? No. This is absolutely impossible. No nascent soul realm cultivator could cultivate to the peak divine transformation realm within 20 years. Even if the divine sovereign of the Rain Palace helped a genius to advance, it is impossible for him to have such a cultivation speed. Lu Xian tried his best to convince himself. However, his heart was getting more and more uneasy. The higher a cultivator's cultivation base, the stronger their heavenly senses would be. This feeling of uneasiness was not groundless. It was undoubtedly caused by Ning Fan. Could it be that I have really missed something? No. I don't believe it. See suppressing Dark King, eat him. Lu Xian's mind was in a mess. He did not want to give Ning Fan the chance to count to 3. He patted his storage pouch and took out a pitch-black token. Then, he cast a hand seal on it. Immediately, a black shadow that was tens of li long slowly rose to the surface of the ocean outside the Saint's subduing island. Eventually, it turned into a gigantic ferocious beast that was over 1,500 zhang in size. It broke through the surface of the ocean and let out a beast roar that shook 10,000 li. Roar, this ferocious beast faintly emitted an early divine transformation realm qi. It was clearly a wild beast. This ferocious beast was once subdued by enlightened Master Fu Sheng and was given the name Sea-Suppressing Dark King. It was the wild beast that protected the Xuanda sect. The wild beast. Uncle Qi and Wang Si were inexplicably shocked. This wild beast was like a pitch-black sea snake. Its mountain-like body soared into the sky and flashed its fangs at Ning Fan. Its eyes were empty. It was obvious that its spiritual intelligence had been completely erased by the token in Lu Xian's hand and it could be controlled at will. The soul control token, the soul control token could control both human souls and beast souls. With this token, even if Lu Xian ordered the sea-suppressing Dark King to die, this beast would not disobey his orders. Ning Fan's eyes suddenly flashed with cold light. 3 breaths had passed. His eyes shone with a profound light. With the help of the heart formation, he could see through all the veins of the grand formation. Destroy. As he moved his legs, all the ice dragons that were coiling around his legs were shattered. As soon as the word was uttered, Ning Fan's baleful qi dyed the heavens red and he stomped on Fu Sheng's body. Rumble. As soon as he stomped on the ground, an unimaginably massive force spread out, giving rise to layers of tearing force that could tear an early divine transformation realm cultivator to shreds. The dignified peak divine transformation realm Fu Sheng ice dragon formation let out a whimper and shattered with a loud bang. Then, the destructive force whizzed past. The entire Fu Sheng Island, the foundation of the profound sect, was crushed by Ning Fan's stomp and sank into the sea, breaking the formation with a single step and sinking the island. This Zhou Ming is at the peak divine transformation realm. He must be at the peak divine transformation realm. Lu Xian's heart shuddered and he was filled with regret. If he knew that Ning Fan had such a cultivation base, he would not dare to help the alliance of Ming assassins to deal with Ning Fan even if he dies 10,000 times. He is at the peak divine transformation realm. Who else could be his match besides the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea? Run! I must run. Lu Xian wanted to run away but it was already a little too late. Ning Fan's killing intent had already been triggered. He had given the profound sect a chance but they were stubborn and swore to go against him. As such, it was impossible for Ning Fan to let Lu Xian go like how he let Zhuo Tong go. Rumble, Ning Fan threw out a palm strike which carried an aura force that could topple mountains and overturn seas. It landed heavily on the body of the wild beast. The strength of this palm strike was very precise. It severely injured the wild beast but did not kill it. Of course, Ning Fan was showing mercy. Since he had picked up a wild beast for free, how could he not take it? Roar, the wild beast let out a shrill roar. Its hollow eyes were filled with fear. It had only shown such fear once in its life and that was when it was subdued by Reverend Fu Sheng. Fu Sheng, who was a late divine transformation realm expert, gave the wild beast a feeling that it was invincible. Today, however, the impression that Ning Fan gave the wild beast was more than a few times stronger than Fu Sheng. It could instinctively feel that if Ning Fan wanted to, even if it was a mid or late divine transformation realm wild beast, it would still be killed by Ning Fan with a single palm strike. Boom! The body of the wild beast smashed towards the tens of thousands of cultivators of the profound sect. Its massive body swept across the area, directly crushing countless gold core realm cultivators and nascent soul realm cultivators into meat paste. Lu Xian's scalp had already gone numb. While fleeing in a hurry, he turned around and sent out 2 sword shadows. The 2 sword shadows were both low-grade divine transformation realm spiritual treasures. The 2 flying swords were a combination of a male and a female. They were known as the double sword. They were especially powerful. Even ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators would not dare to face the sword light of this sword head-on. Lu Xian did not hope for this sword to injure Ning Fan. He only hoped that this sword could delay Ning Fan for a while. Each of the cultivators of the profound sect saw Ning Fan send the wild beast flying with a single palm strike. After that, they saw their old ancestor abandoning his natal flying sword and running away in a panic. All of them were filled with shock and despair. Lu Xian, the dignified old ancestor of the profound sect, actually did not even have the courage to fight against the great devil Lord Zhou. You can't escape. Ning Fan opened his mouth and swallowed the double sword. Then, he crushed it with a single bite. His sword intent was triggered. Looking at Lu Xian who was fleeing, he pointed out a finger. It was the sword finger technique. It was the first time he used the sword finger technique after condensing his sword intent. After condensing his sword intent, the mountain-shattering finger and the heaven-breaking finger that were originally separated actually showed signs of merging into one. Perhaps, the 10 fingers of the sword finger technique was meant to be executed through the fusion of sword intent. Sky-breaking sword finger. Collapsing vast island rivers and mountains. Second, black sun collapsing firmament. Ning Fan's body was surrounded by sword qi. After he pointed his finger, the sword light spread across 100,000 li. Under the deep sea, the mountains collapsed. Above the heavens, the void shattered. An area of 50,000 kilometers was covered in sword threads, and it was like purgatory on earth, causing it to be impossible to escape. Tens of thousands of Xuanda sect cultivators died in an instant. Fear appeared in Lu Xian's eyes. The power of this heaven-collapsing sword finger was definitely not inferior to a peak-level transcendent spell. You're really, at the peak divine transformation realm. Ah! He let out a blood-curdling screech as he was buried in the sword threads. Not even his bones remained. The moment Lu Xian died, all the soul formation patriarchs of the 10 sects and 3 islands shattered a snow-white jade pendant in their storage pouches. That jade pendant was once a token of friendship between the 13 soul formation cultivators. The shattering of the jade pendant undoubtedly meant that a certain divine transformation realm patriarch had died. Lu Xian is dead. The outer sea ancestor is dead. On the green jade immortal island, an old woman who was reprimanding Su Yao and Su Qiu had an extremely ugly expression. The Xuanda sect has the sacred suppressing ice dragon formation, the ocean suppressing king of hell, and Lu Xian. Who can destroy Xuanda and kill Lu Xian? The old woman's ugly expression did not hide from the other experts of the green jade immortal sect. Su Yao and Su Qiu did not understand why the old woman was panicking. In the main hall, 2 young elites revealed nervous expressions. One of them was a middle nascent soul realm elite from the Ice Soul sect, and the other was a late nascent soul realm elite from the Azure Cloud Sword sect, Luan. These 2 were the most outstanding figures among the 7 outer sea sons. However, the 2 of them came here to propose marriage to Su Qiu. Elder Feng, we sincerely propose marriage to Su Qiu Xianzi. No matter which one of us you want to marry, it will be a wonderful thing. Why do you look like you're in a difficult situation? The 2 of them naturally thought that the old woman's ugly expression was because she did not agree to Su Qiu's marriage. If the old woman was an ordinary person, the 2 of them might not give her any face at all. However, this old woman was the divine transformation realm old ancestor of the Green Jade sect, Elder Feng. Even if she did not agree to Su Qiu's marriage, the 2 of them would not dare to resent her. The current Su Qiu had already reached the half-step divine transformation realm after obtaining the inheritance of the fallen divine transformation realm expert of the Green Jade sect. Breaking through to the divine transformation realm was just around the corner. Anyone with a discerning eye would know that Su Qiu's future would be smooth. If any sect's prodigy married her, it would undoubtedly bring back a divine transformation realm expert for their sect. Although there were rumors that Su Qiu was Zhou Ming's woman, no one had seen it with their own eyes. Moreover, Su Qiu's virginity was obviously still there. Hence, the rumors were discredited. If Su Qiu was Zhou Ming's woman, with how lustful Zhou Ming was, would he not pluck her? Don't worry, my two friends. The reason why I don't look good is not because I don't agree to Suchio's marriage. It's just that some other unforeseen events happened. Forget it, we'll talk about this later. I won't believe that that person is dead. Elder Feng shook her head. Her gaze fell on Su Yao and Suchio with a solemn expression. Suchio, you need to understand that as a righteous cultivator, everything you do must be for the sake of the world's safety. Young Master Lu and Young Master Lu are the top talents of the Outer Endless Sea. Although their cultivation is not as good as yours now, it won't be difficult for them to reach the divine transformation realm after 1,000 years with their natural endowments. If you become Tao companions with either of them, it will be a good story. If you marry Lu Zong, the Green Jade sect will unite with the Ice Spirit sect. If you marry Luan, the Green Jade sect will unite with the Azure Cloud Sword sect. No matter which one it is, it will make the foundation of the Green Jade sect deeper. The death of Elder Shui had shaken the position of the Green Jade sect. Many devil cultivators are coveting our sect, hoping to abduct our women. If you marry one of the two young masters, the foundation of the Green Jade sect will be stable. No one will dare to covet our female disciples. Suchio, are you willing to marry someone for the safety of our female disciples? Suchio's bright eyes showed a struggle. If it was her in the past, she might have agreed. She was willing to adhere to the righteous Tao. However, she didn't know when it started, a figure appeared in her heart that was more important than her Tao. She took a step forward, closed her beautiful eyes and smiled sadly. I'm not willing. Her tone was still the same as before. It was the same as when she rejected Yun Kuang in the land of Great Jin. She was not willing, she was not willing. If Yin Suchio was given a choice, she was only willing to marry one person. That person didn't mind her causing trouble. That person didn't care about his own life. He barged into the sea of blood to save her and protect her from harm. Suchio. How can you be so willful? You really disappoint me. Elder Feng's eyes turned cold. Behind her, an early nascent soul realm girl sneered. If you're not willing, then hand over Elder Shui's magic power inheritance. That girl was the descendant of Elder Feng. Her name was Feng Zhen. It was her who spread the rumor that Suchio was Zhou Ming's woman, causing Suchio to not dare to leave the sect easily. It was her who coveted Suchio's magic power inheritance. In Suchio, you can choose to destroy your own cultivation, give up on the inheritance, or marry either Lu Zong or Luan. Feng Zhen's words made Su Yao angry. All these years, Sister Suchio has made countless contributions to our Baiyao sect. How can you force her to destroy her own cultivation? The inheritance she obtained is special. If she destroys her own cultivation, there's at least a 90% chance that she will die. Feng Zhen, what are you thinking? How dare you? Humph. Do you want to choose too? That's fine. Luan and Lu Zong are two young masters. Only one of them can marry Suchio. The remaining one will marry you, Su Yao. How's that? In this way, our Baiyao sect can establish friendly relations with the Ice Soul sect and the Azure Cloud Sword sect at the same time. Feng Zhen revealed a proud expression. She had included Su Yao in her plan from the beginning. After pushing Su Yao and Suchio away and seizing Suchio's power inheritance, she, Feng Zhen, would be the next Baiyao sect master and had the hope of attaining the spirit-severing realm in this life. Her words actually made Elder Feng show a hint of interest. Elder Feng secretly pondered and thought that Feng Zhen's words were really reasonable. Even Su Yao was married. It was really a wonderful thing to establish friendly relations with two great sects at the same time. You. Su Yao was so angry that she had nothing to say. Suddenly, she felt that it was foolish of her to boast about the righteous path and to do her best for the sect. Once there was a conflict of interest, the sect actually sold her out easily. Sister Su Yao, you should leave. This matter started because of me. There's no need to implicate you. Yin Suchio's cold eyes swept across Feng Zhen. She would not allow her sisters to be schemed against by Feng Zhen. A trace of disappointment flashed across her eyes. Righteous path, righteous path. If there's no justice to uphold, how can you call yourself righteous path? Is there justice to uphold in this Baiyao sect? In Suqiu, what's your choice? Feng Zhen smiled and said proudly. I'm willing to destroy my own cultivation. As soon as she said that, everyone was shocked. I don't care about the inheritance. I also don't care about the cultivation. If the righteous path doesn't exist, why should I uphold it? The righteous path in my heart is already left with him alone, isn't it? I won't marry. Even if I have to destroy my own cultivation, I will never betray him. Yin Suqiu's words were out of Elder Feng's expectation. Forcing Yin Suqiu to destroy her own cultivation was definitely not her original intention. Suqiu, why don't you get married? Could it be that you're really that Zhou Ming's woman? Elder Feng said hesitantly. On the other hand, Feng Zhen was secretly proud of herself. Every move of Suqiu was within her calculations. Yin Suqiu raised her palm and slowly placed it on the top of her head, revealing a sad smile. Even until the end, she stubbornly refused to admit her relationship with Ning Fan. Perhaps with Ning Fan's prestige, even Elder Feng might not dare to touch her. However, Yin Suqiu did not want to owe Ning Fan anymore. She already owed him too much and she could not repay him. I'm not Zhou Ming's woman because a woman like me is not qualified at all. I'll only cause trouble for him. I'll only get him injured. If it wasn't for me, he wouldn't have offended the demon sealing palace and wouldn't have been chased by the alliance established by others. I've let him down. Yin Suqiu tried not to let her tears flow out of her eyes. If this palm pressed down, her cultivation would be destroyed and there was a 90% chance that she would die. She was not afraid of death and losing her cultivation. She was afraid that she would never be able to see that person again. A scene vaguely appeared in front of her eyes. On that day, Ning Fan had just left the demon Sinister Sparrow sect and he was still a harmonious spirit realm cultivator who was in the limelight. As for her, Yin Suqiu, she was the old ancestor of Yu country who was high and mighty. When she looked at Ning Fan, she could not help but smile sweetly. At that time, Yin Suqiu had never thought that one day, the harmonious spirit realm junior would become the most important person in her life. Ning Fan, she muttered to herself, chanting a name that no one could understand. The palm force pressed down. At this moment, outside the Green Jade Immortal Island, the earth trembled and the mountains shook. Outside the main hall, a few Gold Core Realm female cultivators hurriedly rushed into the hall and reported with a pale expression. Elder Feng, something bad has happened. There's a G-giant carrying an island and driving a wild beast sea serpent towards the Green Jade Immortal Island. If I'm not mistaken, that wild beast is the sect-guarding beast of the Profound Virtues sect, sea-suppressing Nether King. Boom! Elder Feng smashed the few tables beside him with a palm strike and his expression changed greatly. What? Sea-suppressing Nether King? Could it be that Lu Xian is really dead? Could it be that this giant did it? Stop him and activate the Grand Formation. We must not let him enter the Green Jade Immortal Island within 10,000 li. Yin Suqiu's heart suddenly trembled. She felt an aura that she had been yearning for day and night rushing towards the Green Jade Immortal sect. It's him. Chapter 357. The Green Jade Immortal Island suddenly shook the earth and the mountains. Countless cultivators' faces changed greatly at this moment. Even if they didn't go out of the hall, they could feel a strong momentum impact. Countless female cultivators flew up into the sky and looked into the distance. At the place where the sea and the sky met, a purple-armored giant treated the waves as nothing. Wherever it passed, billions of fish would flee in fear. This giant was carrying a huge island on its shoulders. Beside it was the sea snake desolate beast that it had just subdued. The earth-shattering aura caused all the women to be shocked speechless. Looking at the imposing giant, even Luan and Lu Zong, the two heavens' prides, felt awe. Looking at the giant approaching step by step, Elder Feng's heart thumped, and he finally confirmed one thing with his own eyes. The giant's body still reeked of Lu Xian's blood. His murderous aura dyed half the sky red. It can't be wrong. This giant killed Lu Xian, annihilated the Xuanda sect, and seized the sea-suppressing Nether King. This person was absolutely not someone that Elder Feng could fight against. Quickly activate the Jade Fall Shadow Wavering Formation. Elder Feng gave an order, and he almost immediately activated the Island Protection Array to attack the giant. However, as soon as she gave the order, Yin Suqiu waved her hand and stopped the cultivators who were trying to activate the formation. Do not activate the Grand Formation. Suqiu ordered. Suqiu. This old woman knows that you have a grudge against my Baiyao sect, but now that the sect is in a life and death situation, how can you stop the opening of the Grand Formation for your own personal grudge, and trap my Baiyao sect in danger? Do you know who this giant is? He was the ruthless person who killed Xuanda sect's patriarch Lu Xian. If we don't open the formation, Baiyao will be in danger. Elder Feng's eyes were filled with rage. From her point of view, Yin Suqiu was purely hating the sect and wanted to pick a fight. Her words caused the female cultivators to be even more shocked. Did this giant kill Lu Xian? Destroy Xuanda sect? This matter was simply astounding. After all, ancestor Lu Xian was one of the 13 ancestors of the Outer Sea. However, Elder Feng was a soul formation Grand Master. She was so sure that she would not lie. Many doubtful gazes fell on Yin Suqiu, causing her to laugh at herself. It turned out that in everyone's eyes, he risked his life for Baiyao sect, but in the end, he was just a villain. Elder Feng, if you open the formation and attack this person, you'll be bringing trouble to the Baiyao sect. Suqiu said bluntly. How dare you? How dare you speak rudely to me? Elder Feng's eyes were filled with anger. How dare a mere Yin Suqiu criticize her, a divine severing realm cultivator? Humph. Elder Feng snorted coldly. A strong aura shook Suqiu's body, causing the latter's slightly pale face to become even more haggard. He felt a pain in his chest and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He was suppressed by the pressure and was actually unable to make a sound. This was Elder Feng's warning to Yin Suqiu. This action made Yin Suqiu feel despair towards the Baiyao sect. Is this the righteous path's way of doing things? He wholeheartedly thought for the Baiyao sect, but was treated like this by Elder Feng. If that's the case, so what if I abandon the righteous path? Open the formation quickly. Elder Feng ordered. Without giving Yin Suqiu any chance to explain, he directly opened the formation's defense and personally controlled the formation to kill the enemy. Rays of formation light turned into a fierce light rain and blasted towards the purple-armored giant. At this moment, the giant had already arrived 1,000 miles away from the Baiyao Immortal Island and was almost within reach of Suqiu. His gaze swept towards Suqiu. When he saw Suqiu's haggard expression, his eyes immediately turned cold. When he saw the Baiyao sect's formation light attack, he couldn't help but sneer towards the sky. Interesting. I originally wanted to see my old friend when I passed by the Baiyao sect, but I didn't expect to see such a scene. Who allowed you to hurt her? Boom! The purple-armored giant blasted a punch. The fist light that was comparable to the 4th level of Jade Life Realm landed on the formation light. In an instant, the formation light shattered and the light rain dispersed. Pfft! Elder Feng spurted out a mouthful of blood. Her mind was fully focused on controlling the formation. Now that the formation was shattered, the backlash that she suffered was definitely not small. Her wrinkled old face was filled with horror. Her aura that suppressed Suqiu collapsed on its own. Who is this person? The strength of his punch actually shattered the high-grade Divine Transformation Realm Jade Falling Shadow Formation. The strength of this punch is comparable to the killing blow of a peak Divine Transformation Realm expert. Killing me is as easy as killing an ant. She was shocked by the giant's strength. She was even more shocked by the giant's words. This giant was originally just passing by the Baiyao Immortal Island. He was originally just here to see his old friend without any evil intentions. However, he was really angry now. The giant's anger was not only because of Elder Feng's formation attack, but also because Elder Feng hurt his old friend. Who is the old friend that the purple-armored giant mentioned? Could it be? Elder Feng looked at Suqiu and was secretly shocked. The giant's divine sense was obviously focused on this woman. Yin Suqiu actually knew such an expert. Does she have such a powerful backer? Suqiu, who is he? Elder Feng no longer had the arrogance from before. Previously, she dared to force Suqiu to get married and dared to suppress Suqiu with her aura. At this moment, she no longer dared to touch Suqiu. I have already told you not to attack him with the grand formation, but you didn't believe me and didn't even give me a chance to explain. Suqiu's tone was cold. She no longer cared about the life and death of the Baiyao sect. The only thing that warmed her heart was the giant's angry expression. There was only that roar that was filled with killing intent. Who allowed you to hurt her? May I ask Suqiu Xianzi, who is this giant's senior? Lu Zong and Luan looked at each other and smiled bitterly. This giant obviously had a close relationship with Suqiu. Even if they were given 10,000 times more courage, they would not dare to propose marriage to Suqiu. Yin Suqiu did not pay attention to everyone's questions at all. Only when Suyao became slightly nervous and asked about it, did she pretend to be polite. Sister Suqiu, who is this senior? Suyao was a little afraid. This giant was too scary. Silly sister, isn't he Zhou Ming that you have been thinking about day and night? Yes, he should be called Zhou Ming now. Yin Suqiu knew Ning Fan's identity and was familiar with his qi. She would not reveal his real name. Her tone was calm and indifferent, but her words struck the hearts of all the cultivators on the island, causing them to feel a wave of shock. This purple-armored giant was actually Zhou Ming. The ruthless person who killed Lu Xian and seized the wild beast was actually Zhou Ming. He is Zhou Ming. He is actually Zhou Ming. Elder Feng was filled with regret. If she knew that the person who came was Zhou Ming, she would not dare to set up a formation to attack him even if she was given 10,000 times more courage. Previously, Yin Suqiu clearly wanted to remind her out of kindness, but she misunderstood her kindness and even hurt her. Stupid. Elder Feng scolded herself for being stupid in her heart. If she knew that Zhou Ming and Yin Suqiu had such a close relationship, she would not dare to touch Yin Suqiu even if she was given 100 million times more courage to provoke Zhou Ming. Not good. With Zhou Ming's fierce personality and his strength that is comparable to a peak spirit-severing realm expert, how could he not kill me after I touched his woman and set up a formation to attack him? Moreover, this devil might instantly flatten the Green Jade Immortal Island and abduct all the female cultivators of the sect. Elder Feng was filled with regret. If the Green Jade Immortal Island is destroyed, the blame must be on her. Plop. Elder Feng, who had always been arrogant, actually clenched her teeth and knelt in the direction of the giant. Please show mercy, revered Ming. The one who hurt Suqiu and set up a formation to kill you are all my doing. It has nothing to do with the Green Jade Immortal Island. Hiss, Lu Zong and Luan were shocked. All the female cultivators on the island were shocked. The 13 spirit-severing realm experts of the external Endless Sea were the strongest experts in the external Endless Sea. Such old ancestors actually knelt and begged for mercy in front of others one day. Other than the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea, who else in the Endless Sea could make a spirit-severing realm expert kneel down? Is this the Zhou Ming who dominated the external Endless Sea and no one dared to provoke him? He could kill Lu Xian with his own hands like cutting grass. He could make the arrogant Elder Feng kneel down and beg for mercy. On Gusu Island, Wang Si and Uncle Chi's admiration for Ning Fan had already reached an extreme level. This harmless young man who stayed in Gusu for 5 months was actually a ruthless person who could make a divine transformation realm old ancestor kneel down and beg for mercy with just his name. Bai Su was dressed in mourning clothes. Her face was still pale, but it did not hide her peerless beauty. Her eyes were filled with slight shock. She had been a mortal all her life and never knew that there were immortals in this world. However, after experiencing the great changes in Gusu Island, she saw countless immortals who could fly in the sky and burrow into the ground. Each of these immortals had the strength to flatten Gusu Island. However, such people actually had no power to resist Ning Fan and could only kneel down and beg for mercy. Young Master Zhou is too amazing. Calling him a sword immortal is too low. Su Qiuling's bright eyes carried a trace of curiosity as she looked at Yin Suqiu and Su Yao. With her intelligence, she could tell that these two ladies must have a close relationship with Ning Fan just by looking at the way he took care of them using his spirit sense. She was a half-step divine transformation realm expert and Yin Suqiu was also a half-step divine transformation realm expert. Feeling a curious gaze on her on the island, Yin Suqiu also released her spirit sense and met Su Qiuling's eyes from afar. Is she also Ning Fan's lover? Yin Suqiu let out a faint sigh and guessed inwardly. Ning Fan did such a crazy thing by carrying an entire island with killing intent. Could it be that he wanted to vent his anger for that lady? Ning Fan naturally did not know that the two ladies were paying attention to each other. His gaze swept across the entire green jade immortal island. Under his intense gaze, none of the female cultivators dared to raise their heads to meet his eyes. Are you the one who hurt Suqiu? Ning Fan's words were a little cold. He could sense that there were two injuries on Yin Suqiu's body. One of them covered her entire body but it was not serious. It was left by Elder Feng. The other one was on the top of her head. It seemed to be a bloody palm print. If the palm print was deeper, it could cripple Yin Suqiu's cultivation base. Who was so bold to cripple Yin Suqiu's cultivation base? Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. His killing intent had already locked onto Elder Feng. In the next moment, he was going to kill her. No. It's not me. Was she the one who wanted to cripple her own cultivation base? Elder Feng pleaded. That's right. It's not her. I made a mistake during my cultivation and almost crippled Concubine Z's cultivation base. It's not a big deal. Yin Suqiu's eyes flickered but she did not tell the truth. You're not telling the truth. This is not an injury caused by a mistake during cultivation. If you don't tell the truth, I will kill you and search your soul in the Green Jade Immortal Island. Then, everything will be clear. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He never showed mercy when he killed people, especially to his enemies. Why you are not allowed to kill anyone in the Green Jade Immortal Island? I am the vice sect master of this sect and sister Su Yao is the sect master. I will tell the truth. Yin Suqiu's expression was nervous. She knew that Ning Fan was a real devil lord. He would never show mercy to his enemies. After he calmed himself down, he told her about the marriage proposal in a simplified manner. However, he concealed everything about the coercion of Elder Feng and Feng Zhen as well as his longing for Ning Fan. Even so, with Ning Fan's intelligence, he could also guess that Elder Feng and Feng Zhen must have humiliated Yin Suqiu to the extreme by forcing her to cripple her own cultivation base. Su Qiuling looked at Yin Suqiu and sighed softly. This woman's infatuation with Ning Fan is not any weaker than mine. In order to not marry anyone other than Ning Fan, she was willing to cripple her own cultivation base. This is a woman who is very stubborn towards her feelings. Ning Fan did not say much. He just glanced at Yin Suqiu and remained silent. This woman was still as stubborn as before. However, what she insisted on was no longer the so-called righteous path. What she insisted on and what she would not regret even if she dies had become Ning Fan. You don't have to be like this. It's not wrong for you to insist on the righteous path. My righteous path is you. Yin Suqiu smiled sweetly. Her smile was the most beautiful. However, ever since she came to the Green Jade Immortal Island, she had never smiled. Today, she finally smiled again. I'm going to Yingzhou to settle some matters. I will come to the Green Jade Immortal Sect again. Before that, you are not allowed to harm yourself anymore. Ning Fan still used a manly tone and ordered. This order, however, made Yin Suqiu's heart feel warm. Are you going to Yingzhou to fight against the Ming Assassin Alliance? I will also go and help you, there's no need for that. They are just a motley crew. That's all. You stay in the Green Jade Immortal sect. The overall situation of the sect still needs you and Bai Yao to control it. Elder Feng. Ning Fan's gaze fell on Elder Feng again. He was not a broad-minded person. I heard that your Green Jade Immortal sect has a secret technique that can pass your cultivation base to your disciples. I will give you a chance to live. Pass your cultivation base to Yin Suqiu. Ning Fan swept across Elder Feng's sea of consciousness domineeringly with his spirit sense, intending to plant a demon seal. Elder Feng's expression turned bitter, but she did not dare to resist. She could only let Ning Fan plant the demon seal. Resistance would mean death. If Elder Feng dies, Ning Fan would not only kill her alone. He would eliminate her entire clan and root out the weeds. He had such a fierce character. Because of this, his fierce reputation made people not dare to go against him. As soon as they heard that Ning Fan actually forced Elder Feng to destroy her own cultivation base and pass the inheritance to Yin Suqiu, countless cultivators' expressions changed greatly. However, no one dared to question him. Scary. This Zhou Ming is too scary. With just a sentence, he could force a divine transformation realm cultivator to destroy his own cultivation base. Lu Zong and Luan felt as if they were sitting on pins and needles. Both of them actually proposed marriage to Yin Suqiu. They did not know if Zhou Ming would kill them like how he killed Zhao Zijing. Fortunately, Ning Fan did not pay attention to these two small fries at all. He glanced at Luo Sun and saw him fleeing far away again. He could not delay any longer in this place. Suqiu, Feng Zhen is arrogant and despotic. You should know how to deal with her, right? If you don't know, I will do it for you. No. I know how to deal with her. Yin Suqiu rolled her eyes at Ning Fan in annoyance. Feng Zhen was the most hateful person who stirred up trouble. She offended her superiors and blasphemed the sect master. According to the sect rules, she would have to destroy her cultivation base and imprison her in the cold pond in the sect forever. This would be how Suqiu would deal with her. If she was handed over to Ning Fan, he would definitely forcefully keep her as a human cauldron and defile her 100 times or even 1,000 times. Yin Suqiu did not like Ning Fan to do it with other women. It would be good for Ning Fan to have one less human cauldron. She was no longer the Yin Suqiu in the past. After all these years of experience, she had found the right path in her heart. Ning Fan was the right path for her. Hurry up and go. Don't delay important matters for a little lady like me. Yin Suqiu urged. I have already planted a restriction on Elder Feng. She won't dare to disobey you until she destroys her own cultivation base. As for this sea-suppressing Dark King, I will leave it for you to protect yourself. Ning Fan flicked his finger and a pitch-black token fell into Yin Suqiu's palm. With this token, she could control the sea beasts at will and guard the sect. After that, Ning Fan did not stay any longer. He carried the island and stepped on the waves, heading eastward towards the Ying Island. It's not far away. In another hour, he would arrive at the Ying Island. Ning Fan knew that there would be a bloody battle there. However, he would not be afraid of it. Even if the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea gathered together, no one would be able to stop him. Holding the pitch-black token in her hand, Yin Suqiu felt that she could actually control the gigantic wild beast at will with this token. She had a complicated feeling in her heart. I owe you another favor. I can't repay it, silly sister. Zhou Ming doesn't have the intention to let you repay him at all. With your relationship with him, do you still need to care about some favors? Su Yao looked at Yin Suqiu enviously. Ning Fan's anger was only released for Yin Suqiu. She, Su Yao, was just slightly affected by it. That's right. We have been Dao companions for a long time. Yin Suqiu's face turned red as she recalled the past. On that day, she held hands with Ning Fan in Great Jin. On that day, she sincerely regarded Ning Fan as her only Dao companion. Even if it is to become his helper, I have to run the Baiyao sect well. Feng Zhen must be dealt with. After Elder Feng's cultivation is abolished, it will be inherited by big sister Su Yao. In this way, us sisters can all reach the divine transformation realm in the future and take charge of the Baiyao sect. With this sect guarding Desolate Beast, if he is in trouble, I will certainly be able to help him a lot. Right now, I'm too weak. If I want to help him, I need to be at least at the soul formation stage. Yin Suchio's Dao heart became firmer. She could faintly feel that today's events had loosened the bottleneck of the half-step soul formation realm. The soul formation realm is not far away. I'm a soul formation realm cultivator, not because I want to be peerless. I just want to walk side by side with you. Luosun was filled with cold sweat. He had been fleeing all the way and purposely chose the route where there were forces. He tried to stop Ningfan's pursuit with each and every powerful force. However, he did not expect that wherever Ningfan went, as long as there was resistance, it would either result in the destruction of the island or the destruction of the sect. The Xuanda sect was easily annihilated. The Baiyao sect was subdued with just a word. Damn it! If I knew that Zhou Ming is so powerful, I wouldn't have provoked him even if Zigu gave me 1 billion more immortal jade. Forget it. It's too late to regret. Now, I can only escape to Yingzhou and use the name of the demon sealing sect to protect myself. I don't believe it. No matter how powerful you are, can you be stronger than the venerated demon of the demon sealing sect? Do you think you are the 8th venerated being of the internal endless sea? The 8th venerated being of the internal endless sea is a pretty good title. Chapter 358. Luosun had never thought that a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator like him would have to run for his life like a stray dog. When Luosun arrived at Yingzhou Immortal Island, the patrolling cultivators were stunned. Did they see wrongly? As one of the top 50 experts on the Internal Sea Devil Appraisal Board, Luosun actually lost his composure and was running for his life. Lord Luosun, what exactly happened? There's no time to explain. Quickly activate the island's protective array. Luosun landed on Yingzhou Immortal Island and heaved a sigh of relief as he kept the woman in the sack. Great, I've finally made it back. I'll go look for Zigu and the others to discuss a solution. Yingzhou Immortal Island was an island for sword cultivators. There were 10 sects and 3 islands. The 10 sects were sects while the 3 islands were rogue cultivator forces. Penglai Immortal Island might have the Lost World Palace, but the cultivators on the island were in a state of disunity. Compared to Penglai Immortal Island, Yingzhou Immortal Island had a unique advantage. Penglai Immortal Island was formed from the corpse of a giant sea turtle ferocious beast. Yingzhou Immortal Island, on the other hand, was formed from a giant sword treasure of the ancient cultivators. This sword treasure was not as famous as the 4 heaven-suppressing swords. Due to the passage of time, it had lost all of its power and was now a fossil. However, since this island was formed from a sword, it possessed a unique sword spiritual chi that could be used for sword cultivators to cultivate. Although the sword spiritual chi was not even 1/10 of the sword island in the internal sea, it still attracted countless rogue cultivators to join the island. When Zigu convinced the Yingzhou Island Lord to establish the Ming Assassin Alliance, he gave an order that all rogue cultivators who did not join the alliance would be expelled from the island. Many rogue cultivators had no choice but to join the alliance in order to continue cultivating. The sword spiritual chi was a unique advantage of Yingzhou Immortal Island. It could easily gather a force for its own use. It was not something that Penglai Immortal Island could imitate. The island was rich in a special kind of swordwood tree. Its wood was even harder than many precious spiritual ores. There were a total of 4,700 sword peaks on the island. Rumor had it that every peak once condensed the sword chi of a nascent soul realm sword cultivator. 4,700 sword peaks pierced through the sky. Each sword peak was like a formation eye, forming a peerless sword formation at the peak of the transcendent level. Its name was the East Profound Sword Formation. It was created by the Abode Island Master, Dong Xuanzi. Dong Xuanzi was also a sword cultivator. In other words, most of those who were willing to join the Ming Assassin Alliance were sword cultivators. Surrounded by 4,700 sword peaks, a majestic sword palace towered majestically. In the sword palace, 16 soul formation cultivators were seated. 16 semi-god realm warriors gathered together. Such a scene was rare even in the internal ocean. The leader was a blind old man. His face was ferocious and he held a golden sword in both of his hands. He was Dong Xuanzi, an early-stage soul formation cultivator. There were 3 people sitting below him. They were all divine transformation realm cultivators of the demon sealing hall. 2 of them were in the mid-divine transformation realm. The remaining early-stage soul formation cultivator was Purple Goo. After them were the semi-god realm cultivators from other forces. Some of them were at the early stage, and some were at the middle stage. They were all cultivators of the internal ocean. These cultivators of the internal endless sea were usually arrogant and looked down on any semi-god realm cultivator from the external endless sea. Even Zhou Ming, who had dominated the external endless sea, was just average in their eyes. Hiring so many soul formation cultivators to assassinate Zhou Ming seemed to be an unnecessary move. As a matter of fact, everyone understood that Zigu created this Ming assassination alliance on the surface to avenge his personal grudge and kill Ning Fan. In reality, he was taking the opportunity to establish a force and represent the demon sealing temple in controlling the outer endless sea. Didn't the giant demon clan make the Pleasure Demon Island their subordinate? Fine, the demon sealing sect will build a Yingzhou Island and a dozen soul formation cultivators to completely control the outer ocean. In order to win over the hearts of the people, Purple Goo used the 2 words assassin as the name of the alliance. Assassinate Ming, assassinate Zhou Ming. Zhou Ming had enemies everywhere in the outer endless sea. Presumably, by spreading this name, he would be able to win people's hearts and make use of them. However, Zigu did not expect that only a few third-rate forces in the outer sea would be willing to join the alliance even though they had announced their intention to kill Zhou Ming. Some of the stronger powers didn't dare to take revenge on Zhou Ming. That was because the stronger the cultivator, the more they knew how terrifying Zhou Ming's name was. Helpless, purple venomous insect could only change its strategy and use benefits to entice many factions to join. Among them, Xianda Island was enticed to join. Thus, in essence, Zigu did not care about Zhou Ming at all, killing Zhou Ming was just an excuse. However, Zhou Ming really came back. Zigu had never thought that Zhou Ming would return to the outer endless sea after disappearing for 20 years and break through to the soul formation stage. Thinking about Zhou Ming's ruthless character, he would definitely find trouble with the alliance of Ming assassins. Zigu decided to go all out and send Wang Kun, Yu Gu, and Luo Sen to the Pleasure Devil Island to assassinate him. At the same time, he warned the 3 of them that they could kill anyone but not on Pleasure Demon Island. After all, Pleasure Demon Island was a force of the giant demon clan. With Zigu's status, he didn't dare to offend the giant demon clan. Fellow Taoist Zigu, you actually sent 3 mid-divine transformation realm fellow Taoists to assassinate Emir Zhou Ming. This doesn't seem appropriate. Dong Xuanzi frowned and said. Emir Zhou Ming. Fellow Taoist Dong Xian should not underestimate Zhou Ming. You didn't see with your own eyes how powerful that Zhou Ming was back then. He was only at the late nascent soul stage, but he destroyed the Black Buddha sect Xie Guang with 1 finger on the Pleasure Devil Island. Now that Zhou Ming has broken through to the soul formation stage, his battle prowess will definitely increase again. I'm afraid that ordinary early soul formation cultivators won't be his match. Taoist Purple Goo's eyes turned solemn. He had never underestimated Ning Fan. However, his words immediately caused a cold sneer from one of the early-stage soul formation cultivators. So what if he killed Xie Guang? Xie Guang was just the weakest divine transformation realm cultivator. If that Zhou Ming had the combat power of a half-step divine transformation realm expert, it wouldn't be surprising for him to kill the careless Xie Guang with a sneak attack. You should know that the divine transformation realm isn't the same as the nascent soul realm. Every cultivation realm is difficult to surpass. Even if Zhou Ming cultivates for another 100 years, he won't be a match for a mid-divine transformation realm expert as long as he hasn't broken through to the mid-divine transformation realm. The words of this expert made the other old monsters nod in agreement. However, it made a monk in black robes dissatisfied. That monk was obviously a Buddhist cultivator. However, his body was shrouded in devil chi. His body was bony and he carried a black sword on his back. Surprisingly, his cultivation base was at the mid-divine transformation realm. Humph. No matter how weak Xie Guang is, he is still a member of my Black Buddha sect. Those who hurt him deserve to die. This monk was actually the sect master of the Black Buddha sect, the sword monk Xie Gu, who was at the mid-divine transformation realm. As soon as he spoke, the early divine transformation realm cultivator who mocked Xie Guang immediately shut his mouth. Hee, everyone, please don't quarrel. The establishment of the Alliance of Ming Assassins is all thanks to your help. We, the Demon Sealing Sect, will remember this kindness. There are 17 peak 5th revolution will severing pills here. Once Luo Sen, Lu Xian and the other 2 Taoists return, I will distribute these pills to all of you. Seeing that the atmosphere was a little quiet, Zigu chuckled. He stood up and snapped his fingers. Immediately, 2 purple-robed girls carried a wooden box and walked into the hall. The 2 girls were not living beings. They were formed by 17,000 purple devouring goo insects. Including Luo Sen, Lu Xian and the other 2, the alliance had a total of 20 divine transformation realm cultivators. Apart from Zigu and the other 3 from the Demon Sealing Sect, the rest of the experts were recruited by Zigu. The price he promised was 1 will severing pill for each early divine transformation realm cultivator. Not only could the mid-divine transformation realm cultivator be proud of their will severing pill, but they could also get an additional 100 million immortal jade. The will severing pill was a good item. It was a pill that the Demon Sealing Sect collected from some ruins. There were only 17 of them. The effect of this pill was to improve a cultivator's sword intent. There was also a small chance that it could help a cultivator condense sword consciousness and sword thought. However, the recipe of this pill had been lost since ancient times. It was already not easy for these pills to be preserved. If the Demon Sealing Sect had any sword cultivators, Zigu would definitely not use these pills to recruit people. Will severing pill. All the old monsters were sword cultivators. They were naturally very passionate about this pill. There were a total of 17 divine transformation realm sword cultivators in the alliance. However, only 5 of them had condensed sword intent. Sword cultivators who had not condensed sword intent could use this pill to condense sword intent. Sword cultivators who had condensed sword intent could use this pill to improve their sword intent. There was even a small chance that they could condense sword consciousness and sword thought. With such a pill as a lure, it was no wonder that this group of experts would join a mere force in the outer endless sea. Each of the old monsters had a fiery look in their eyes as they looked at the wooden box that contained the elixirs. Wisps of pill fragrance floated out of the wooden box. Just by smelling it, everyone felt that their sword Dao cultivation level had improved a lot. Once Wang Kuan, Luo Sen, Yu Gu and Lu Xian returned, they would divide the pills. At this moment, the sword peak of the Ying province Immortal Islands suddenly trembled. Sword chi spread out. It was obviously because the Eastern Profound Sword Formation was activated. Why is the sword formation activated? Each of the divine transformation realm old monsters looked at Dong Xuanzi doubtfully. However, even he was puzzled. Before he could go out of the Sword Palace to investigate, a figure who looked a little disheveled walked into the Sword Palace. It was Senator Luo Sen's fat body, which was like a mountain, was covered with wounds. Obviously, he was injured by Ning Fan's pursuit. Most of his sparse hair was cut off by Ning Fan's sword chi. His hair was disheveled and his face was dirty. How did fellow Taoist Luo end up like this? Who hurt you? Where are fellow Taoist Wang and fellow Taoist Yu? And fellow Taoist Lu Xian? I can't contact him using the sound-transmitting flying sword either. Do you know where he is? Dong Xuanzi was stunned. He immediately rose to his feet and found it hard to sit still. Seeing Luo Sen in such a disheveled state, Dong Xuanzi naturally realized that Luo Sen had encountered quite a big trouble. Thus, he asked a series of questions. Even though he had a lot of questions, none of them asked whether the mission was completed or not. In Dong Xuanzi's opinion, if 3 mid-divine transformation realm experts joined hands to assassinate Zhou Ming, the 3 of them might as well find a piece of tofu and kill themselves. It's hard to explain in a few words. It's hard to explain everything with just a glance. I was the one who lured Zhou Ming here. I was also the one who opened the grand formation. Luo Sen did not know how to explain. Oh. Fellow Taoist Luo didn't kill Zhou Ming but lured him here instead. That's not a bad idea. I heard that Zhou Ming has quite a lot of secret techniques. If we can capture him alive and force him to reveal his secret techniques, it will be a wonderful thing. Dong Xuanzi nodded his head. He did not expect that Luo Sen was being pursued here. As soon as they heard that Zhou Ming was coming, each of the old monsters was either excited or sneered. As for the black monk Xiegu, he directly stood up with his sword in hand and patted Luo Sen's shoulder with a grateful expression. Thank you, fellow Taoist Luo. Why are you thanking me? Luo Sen's thoughts were complicated. He thought to himself, I've lured a malefic star to you guys and you guys are still thanking me? Are you guys crazy? Fellow Taoist Luo deliberately lured Zhou Ming here so that I can kill him. I have a grudge against Zhou Ming since a long time ago. No one is allowed to compete with me for his head. Xiegu's killing intent was chilling. In his mind, killing Ning Fan was just a small matter. He was not Xie Guang. He was a mid-divine transformation realm cultivator who had condensed his sword intent. Why would he be afraid of a mere divine transformation realm cultivator? Since you've lured Zhou Ming here, why did you activate the grand formation? Are you trying to keep him outside the formation? Where are fellow Taoists Wang Kuan, Yu Gu and Lu Xian now? Zi Gu frowned. He felt a little uneasy. They're dead. They're all dead. Luo Sen's eyes were filled with a hint of fear. Dead? Who's dead? Each of the divine transformation realm old monsters was dumbfounded by Luo Sen's words. Isn't this just luring Zhou Ming into the immortal abode? Who's dead? Zhou Ming is dead. Why is Luo Sen speaking incoherently? Just as everyone was asking questions, the loud sound of crashing waves gradually resounded from afar. In the beginning, the sound was still far away. However, after a few breaths, it had already arrived outside the immortal abode island. All of a sudden, a bloody baleful qi enshrouded the entire immortal abode island. It was as if a heavy punch had landed on the formation light. After an earth-shattering bang, the immortal abode island shook violently. Even a few of the sword peaks on the island had collapsed due to the force of the punch. The 17 divine transformation realm cultivators at the scene became restless at this moment. Under that baleful qi, even a mid-divine transformation realm expert was as insignificant as a lone boat. As for the outside world, the exclamations of millions of cultivators had already resounded. The 17 divine transformation realm cultivators immediately flew out of the sword palace. All of them were in disbelief. They saw a 3,000 zhang tall giant clad in purple armor. He was carrying the island on his shoulder with one hand and clenching his other hand into a fist. He was bombarding the formation light of the Eastern Profound Sword formation with every punch. The force of each of his punches was terrifying to the extreme. Every time his punch landed, more than 10 sword peaks would collapse. This purple-armored giant's baleful qi was terrifying. No one knew how many divine transformation realm cultivators he had killed in his lifetime. This purple-armored giant's body was tainted with 3 new baleful qi. The auras of these 3 baleful qi belonged to Wang Kuan, Yu Gu, and Lu Xian. Who is this person? He killed 3 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators. 2 of them were mid-Divine Transformation Realm cultivators. Who is this person? The force of each of his punches is not something ordinary Divine Transformation Realm cultivators like us can withstand. Who is this person? Shocked gazes landed on Luo. Senator Luosen chuckled bitterly. I just said that I lured Zhou Ming here. As soon as he said that, the other 16 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators, including Zigu, were all terrified. What? He's Zhou Ming. This 3,000 zhang tall purple-armored giant is Zhou Ming. This is definitely not a body formed by an illusion technique. My god, Zhou Ming is not some early Divine Transformation Realm cultivator. He's obviously at the peak Divine Transformation Realm. Luo Sen. How dare you lure such a murderer to Immortal Abode Island? Are you trying to get us killed? Furious roars were directed at Luo. Senator Dong Xuanzi, who was disdainful of Zhou Ming earlier, was now dumbfounded. Xiagu, who was quick to kill Zhou Ming just now, was holding his black sword with trembling hands. Buildings that looked like huge swords collapsed under the bombardment of Ning Fan's punches. Each of the low-grade cultivators of the Alliance of Ming Assassins was directly turned into meat paste by the aftershock of his punches. Asterisk bang. 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 Asterisk even though these Divine Transformation Realm cultivators had been tempered in the sea of blood for their entire lives, they had never seen such a crazy scene. The giant who was carrying the island on his shoulder carried a towering baleful chi and a belly full of rage. It was as if he was going to sink the island. Zigu felt his scalp go numb. He gradually recognized the chi of the giant. It was indeed Ning Fan. However, he did not expect that Ning Fan, who was just a late nascent soul realm cultivator 20 years ago, would actually become so strong 20 years later. According to Zigu's investigation on Ning Fan, he would not show such a crazy expression if Luo Sen and the others had not done something to enrage him. Even if he were to kill people and seize their treasures, Ning Fan would still be indifferent under normal circumstances. Luo Sen. What have you done? You've angered this malignant star. Zigu was the one who established the Alliance of Ming Assassins, but he still blamed Luo Sen for it. Damn it. How would I know what this Zhou Ming is up to? I've just massacred an entire mortal island. Before Luo Sen could finish his words, he was interrupted by a sky-piercing sword intent. The purple-armored giant's eyes were filled with killing intent. Around his body, an unparalleled sword intent soared into the sky. Under the ferocious sword intent, the 5 sword intent cultivators, including Nefarious Gu, felt their souls tremble at the same time. The 4,700 sword mountains on the Yingzhou Immortal Island began to shake in fear. What a strong sword intent. It can't be wrong. This is the immortal trapping sword intent. Ignoring the fear of the Alliance of Ming Assassins, Ning Fan only had one thought in his mind, to flatten the Yingzhou Immortal Island. The victims of Gusu Island needed a reason. If I die, all of you will live. If I live, all of you will die. Ning Fan's cold voice set off a storm of killing intent. Unless Ning Fan dies today, the Yingzhou Immortal Island would certainly be completely annihilated. From today onwards, who would still dare to assassinate me? Chapter 359. I die, you live. If I don't die, don't even think about leaving Yingzhou alive. Ning Fan put down Gusu Island on his shoulder and slowly got out of his giant form. He patted his storage bag and took out 25 puppets. Each of them had at least the energy of a soul formation cultivator. Of the 10 black vipers, only 8 were left. 17 were gifted by Dong Su. As for the 3 void refinement realm puppets that Yuan Yao gave him, they were refined from the corpses of realm beasts. She did not take them out to prevent others from seeing through them and getting into unnecessary trouble. The moment the 25 puppets appeared, the 17 soul formation cultivators in the Yingzhou formation were terrified. So many puppets, and all of them are at the deity transformation stage. This Zhou Ming is a madman. He actually killed so many experts and refined them into puppets. No wonder this person's murderous aura is so strong. He's actually a fiend who kills divine transformation realm cultivators like ants. Among the 17 divine transformation realm cultivators in the Ying Island, the highest cultivation base was only at the mid-divine transformation realm. It was already difficult for them to recognize the divine transformation realm's spiritual puppets. None of them knew that the highest cultivation base of those spiritual puppets had already reached the half-step void refinement realm. Moreover, these puppets used a secret technique to conceal their aura. No one could see through their specific cultivation level, unless they were the 7 venerable ones of the internal endless sea. However, even if they could not see through the power of these spiritual puppets, just knowing that Ning Fan possessed 25 divine transformation realm spiritual puppets was no different from a grievous news to the cultivators of Yingzhou. This Zhou Ming actually had 25 soul formation puppets. How could he afford to offend Zhou Ming? Zhou Ming's strength alone was more profound than the entire Ming Assassins Alliance. Damn, Zhou Ming actually has so many soul formation puppets. He's not human. But why did he place the puppet on the island? Could it be that he didn't plan to borrow the strength of the puppet when he came to Yingzhou to cause trouble? Luo Sen's eyes flashed. From Ning Fan's actions, he could guess that there must be some people in Gusu City who were extremely important to Ning Fan. That was why he left behind countless spiritual puppets to protect Gusu City from the battle. If they could kill their way into Gusu City and capture the people whom Ning Fan valued, they might be able to counter him. However, even though Lawson knew about this strategy, he did not dare to barge into Gusu. Once they got close to Gusu, they would be surrounded and killed by 25 soul formation cultivators. What do we do now? Dong Xuanzi was at a loss of what to do. Although he was a divine transformation realm patriarch, he was only an early-stage divine transformation realm cultivator after all. In such a large-scale battle, he was nothing. What else can we do? It was too late to say anything now. He could still protect himself by hiding in Yingzhou. Once he leaves the Dongxian sword formation, he'll definitely be surrounded and beaten to death by those puppets. If I'm not wrong, there might even be late-stage soul formation puppets among them. Zigu's eyes widened. If he knew that Ning Fan had such capabilities, he would certainly not have created the Ming Assassin Alliance and brought disaster upon himself. However, it was all over now. With Zigu's understanding of Ning Fan would not show any mercy to his enemies when he was enraged. Begging for mercy and whatnot. One begged, one died. That's right. We must not leave the Dongxian sword formation. Each of the divine transformation realm old monsters immediately chimed in. Their determination to kill Ning Fan was nowhere to be seen. All right. There are still 1 billion celestial jades in the alliance. Everyone here also has a lot of celestial jades. Take them out. Although the Dongxian sword formation was strong, it consumed immortal jade the most. After all, it was a peak-level formation. But even if it consumes more immortal jade, we can still gather 2 billion immortal jade, which is enough to keep the grand formation running for several years. I don't believe that Zhou Ming would besiege Yingzhou for several years just for a mortal country. That's right. If we can hide here for several years, we can certainly wait for the reinforcements from the demon sealing sect. Once venerated demon comes out from his seclusion, with his half-step void refinement realm strength, killing Zhou Ming will be as easy as killing a dog. Look, that Zhou Ming has exited his giant form. The ability to turn his body into a giant form consumes a lot of stamina. I'm afraid he doesn't even have the strength to lift his sword now. The discussions of the divine transformation realm old monsters were heard by the other cultivators of the Alliance. Each of the cultivators of the Alliance sighed. The biggest mistake they had made in their lives was to join the Ming Assassin Alliance and get involved in this mess. 17 dignified divine transformation realm cultivators were frightened by Ning Fan and hid in the formation, not daring to come out. Each of these divine transformation realm cultivators was an overlord of a region. However, in front of Ning Fan, they did not even dare to breathe loudly. Ming Assassin Alliance. Ming my ass. It would be better to change it to Ming Fear Alliance. Ning Fan's gaze swept across Yingzhou. His spirit sense spread across 50,000 li. When he saw that the motley crew of the alliance were so frightened that they did not dare to come out, the disdain in his eyes became even stronger. Weak. Too weak. These cultivators were worthless divine transformation realm cultivators. In Ning Fan's eyes, they were not even comparable to the 5-peak nascent soul realm cultivators who detonated their primordial spirits to protect Gusu Island. They were not comparable to that old scholar who was fearless even in the face of death. They were not comparable to that dissolute and rich man. They did not have faith and they did not have the determination to die 100 times. Looking at these unsightly divine transformation realm cultivators, only 2 words appeared in Ning Fan's mind. Ants. Ning Fan exited his giant form not because he did not have enough stamina but because it was unnecessary. To ordinary people, turning their body into a giant form could greatly increase their strength. To Ning Fan, turning his body into a giant form was just to carry the island. His strongest form was not the giant form but the mortal form. He closed his eyes as if he had forgotten all of his anger. When he opened his eyes again, his eyes were filled with sword intent. Ning Fan seemed to have turned into an ancient sword that hung in the sky. He touched his glabella and the Separation Slayer sword appeared in his hand. With a shake of the sword light, a ray of sword light that could tear apart the wind and clouds collided with the formation light. Immediately, it was repelled by thousands of layers of sword light. The turtle shell is quite hard, Ning Fan frowned. This eastern profound sword formation that protected Yingzhou had 4,700 sword peaks. It was not far from becoming a void grade grand formation. As for the tens of sword peaks that were destroyed by his fist light, they were being rebuilt through the consumption of immortal jade. Judging from this, it would take at least a few years to break this formation by wearing it down. Purple technique, wind mist. Ning Fan's long sword trembled. Purple gold sandstorm emerged from the sword. Based on his experience in breaking formations, this purple gold sandstorm could even make a hole in an immortal void realm grand formation. Thus, it naturally would not care about a mere peak divine transformation realm grand formation. Amidst the sizzling sounds of erosion, a hole was instantly worn out. At the next moment, Ning Fan took a step forward and entered the formation light of the Eastern Profound Sword Formation. The 17 divine transformation realm cultivators of Yingzhou who were slightly relieved just now were really scared out of their wits. They could not understand what kind of technique Ning Fan had just used. All they saw was a flash of purple gold sandstorm and the dignified Eastern Profound Sword Formation that was at the peak divine transformation realm actually had an opening. It's impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Not good. We can't let him get close to us. 1,000,000 cultivators, quickly get into formation and kill Zhou Ming. Zigu's heart skipped a beat. The pressure that Ning Fan gave him when he entered the formation was too heavy. Without any hesitation, the 17 divine transformation realm cultivators turned into rays of light and retreated to the back of the 1,000,000 cultivators. The 1,000,000 cultivators hastily got into formation. As soon as the human formation was formed, they immediately swung their swords at the sky. 1,000,000 rays of sword light whizzed out like a rain of swords. Ear-piercing sword chimes resounded throughout Yingzhou. At the moment when the 1,000,000 cultivators attacked together, heaven and earth were shrouded by sword light. One of the sword light was perhaps only equivalent to the attack of a harmonious spirit realm or gold core realm cultivator. However, even a late divine transformation realm cultivator might not dare to face 1,000,000 harmonious spirit realm or gold core realm sword light head-on. I'm Dong Xuanzi. Zhou Ming, you shouldn't have entered the sword formation. Dong Xuanzi revealed a hideous smile. His initial shock was no longer there. What was left was only a smug look. The Eastern Profound Sword Formation was known as a sword formation. Naturally, it was not only used for external defense. The most powerful aspect of a sword formation was not its defense but its ability to kill enemies within the formation. As Dong Xuanzi waved his sleeves, 4,700 nascent soul realm sword light circled around his body. Each of them was equivalent to a full-force attack of a nascent soul realm sword cultivator. As Dong Xuanzi's hand seals changed, be it the 1,000,000 sword light or the 4,700 sword light, all of them gathered in his hand and turned into a dazzling green light sword. He held it in his hand. Even though the light sword had the shape of a sword, it was not a real entity. Instead, it was condensed from sword qi. It was 7 feet long and 3 inches wide, just like a ray of green moonlight. This sword was equivalent to the full-force attack of 1,000,000 harmonious spirit realm and gold core realm cultivators, 4,700 nascent soul realm cultivators and Dong Xuanzi. Holding the light sword, Dong Xuanzi felt that his physical body was about to collapse. The sword light was too strong. Suddenly, an illusion rose in Dong Xuanzi's mind. With this sword, even if he was an early divine transformation realm cultivator, he could still kill a peak divine transformation realm cultivator. What a strong sword qi! Dong Xuanzi, I didn't expect you to have such a technique. Kill him. Each of the divine transformation realm cultivators' eyes were filled with excitement. After all, this was Dong Xuanzi's territory. It was not surprising that he knew how to condense 10,000 swords into one. Zhou Ming. Do you dare to fight me? Dong Xuanzi's eyes were filled with madness. Such an arrogant tone made him sound as if he had become a peak divine transformation realm expert. Ning Fan's eyes were filled with disdain. Even though this sword qi was strong, it still depended on who is using it. Just like the void refinement realm sword qi that Zichuan displayed, it was still broken by Ning Fan. Dong Xuanzi's Dao of sword might be slightly stronger than Zichuan's, but he had yet to condense his sword intent. In the eyes of Ning Fan, who had already condensed his sword intent, that ray of sword light was full of flaws. As Dong Xuanzi struck out with his sword, that ray of sword light was like a green thunderbolt. It instantly arrived at Ning Fan's chest. When it was 1,000 zhang away from Ning Fan, it divided into 10 parts and then 100 parts. Then, it turned into 1,000,000 sword light again. Ning Fan's expression changed. Even though Dong Xuanzi's Dao of sword was weak, this technique of condensing and shattering the sword was extraordinary. After condensing and shattering the sword light, there were still 1,000,000 rays of sword light. However, the power of the 1,000,000 rays of sword light had become even. It was just like how each of the wooden planks that made up a wooden barrel was filled up by the height of the wooden planks. Their shortcomings were filled up by the length of the planks. Naturally, their power would also be greatly increased. Outside Yingzhou Island, many cultivators had followed Ning Fan to this place. However, they were left far behind by Ning Fan. Only 3 divine transformation realm old monsters managed to reach the outskirts of Yingzhou. One of them was Zuotong of the Purple Charm sect, the second was Dong Su and the third was Yun Niansu. Naturally, Zuotong had followed Ning Fan all the way to this place. As for Dong Su, he had rushed to this place at an unbelievable speed after hearing about what happened in Yingzhou. As for Yun Niansu, after he left Gusu's city on that day, he had headed all the way to the east, preparing to meet up with the people from the Rain Palace in the Internal Sea. Coincidentally, he saw Ning Fan attacking Yingzhou. Dong Su's eyes were profound. He was the one with the highest cultivation base among the 3 of them. He could tell how powerful Dong Xuanzi's sword attack was with just a single glance. Yun Niansu's knowledge was extraordinary. Given his identity as a heavenly pride of the Rain Palace, he had seen many void refinement realm sword cultivators. This sword attack was certainly not something that anyone below the void refinement realm could withstand. Zuotong's eyes flashed with surprise. Even though he had witnessed Ning Fan's strength before, his sword light was not weak either. For a moment, he could not tell who was the winner. When he looked at the 25 spiritual puppets on Gusu Island again, his back was drenched in cold sweat. He felt that it was really wise of him not to completely offend Ning Fan in the past. I didn't expect Dong Xuanzi to have such a technique. 1,000,000 sword rays and the Eastern Profound Sword Formation. When these attacks are stacked together, who else would be able to withstand it other than the 7 venerated beings of the eternal endless sea? However, judging from revered Ming's calm expression, I don't think he has any other techniques to resist it, right? Just as his voice faded away, he saw Ning Fan put away his Separation Slayer sword. One of his fingers formed a claw and clawed at the ground of the island. His other hand changed into a sword art and pointed at the millions of sword lights in front of him. This stance was none other than the heaven-breaking sword finger that made him famous. During the auction, Zuotong did not see Ning Fan kill Xie Guang with his own eyes. However, he had also heard rumors about it. Ning Fan, who was a late nascent soul realm cultivator, had instantly killed Xie Guang with this heaven-breaking finger. This finger was indeed powerful, but there was a limit to how powerful it could be. The reason why Ning Fan was able to kill Xie Guang instantly was because the latter was too weak and he had underestimated his opponent. Even though Ning Fan had broken through to the divine transformation realm today and he was different from the past, Zuotong did not think that his finger could withstand the millions of sword lights. On the other hand, Ning Fan's soul extraction technique shocked Zuotong. After extracting his soul, Ning Fan's magic power had completely risen to the peak divine transformation realm. Venerated Ming is indeed a peak divine transformation realm expert. However, Venerated Ming will be at a disadvantage if he uses his finger to block the millions of sword lights. Above the heavens and below the earth, everything was filled with sword lights. Looking at the sky full of sword lights, Zuotong shook his head without saying a word. In his heart, he was almost certain that Ning Fan would not be able to withstand a single sword attack from Dong Xuanzi. Ning Fan was unaware of all these. He was just thinking about the heaven-breaking sword finger over and over again and comprehending more and more things. The 5 months of comprehending the sword in Gusu City and the experience he gained from killing his way to Yingzhou had all turned into insights. He slowly closed his eyes. The sword light on the tip of his finger became even more dazzling. Sword intent flashed in his eyes. It was as if he had comprehended the true meaning of this finger. The sword finger had 10 finger incantations. In the past, Ning Fan thought that the 10 finger incantations were unrelated to each other. He arbitrarily classified the mountain-shattering finger as an attack of the nascent soul level, and the sky-shattering finger as an attack of the deity transformation level, but this was wrong. In Fu Xinghai, Ning Fan understood that the sword fingers needed to be fused. However, at that time, he still thought that the fusion of the 10 fingers sword art required the use of all 10 fingers. This is wrong. The 10-finger sword finger was a unique skill that was fused together. He suddenly opened his eyes and muttered an incantation. The sword lights suddenly shot out from the tip of his finger and turned into tens of thousands of collapsing sword lights that could crush mountains and rivers. I got it. This is the true meaning of the 10 sword fingers. Collapsing the vast mountains and rivers. 2nd, black sun collapsing firmament. 3 collapsing void death bones. Tomb of the fourfold collapse emperor's shadow. 5 collapses imprisoning the heavenly immortal path. 6 yin yang talisman lives. 7 ruptures true Tao mystic technique. 8 disintegrations world. 9 collapses fate arising, thought extinguishing. 10 will collapse return to nirvana. 10 fingers were supposed to be united. That kind of unity wasn't just 2 sword fingers. Instead, it was the fusion of the profound meaning of 2 different sword fingers. Heaven-shattering sword finger, first collapse and second collapse. After the mountains and rivers collapsed, the tens of thousands of sword lights suddenly trembled and turned into 1 million pitch-black sword shadows. At this moment, the vast sky collapsed one after another. At the same time, there were 1 million sword chi. However, each of them was a few times stronger than Dong Xuanzi's sword chi. The heaven-shattering sword finger with the second collapse could kill a half-step void refinement realm expert. Boom! After the sword chi storm, Ning Fan remained unmoved. His body was surrounded by sword chi. As for Dong Xuanzi, he was sent flying backwards while spurting out blood. His immortal veins had already been destroyed. The 1,000,000 sword chi that he condensed from the power of 1,000,000 cultivators collapsed one after another. This is absolutely impossible. Even the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea might not be able to withstand this attack of yours. What kind of sword technique is this? Ning Fan's eyes flashed with joy. This was the true profound meaning of the heaven-shattering sword finger. In the past, he definitely could not comprehend the second collapse of the finger. However, after condensing the sword intent, he managed to do it. Chapter 360. What a powerful sword finger. If it was merely the first wave of the finger sword, this old man would still be able to receive it unscathed. However, after the second wave, under the 1,000,000 sword chis, even this old man would find it extremely difficult to receive it. Dong Su's eyes trembled violently. Ever since Ning Fan returned to the external endless sea, he could tell that Ning Fan's strength had improved tremendously in just 20 years. However, Dong Su had never thought that the current Ning Fan would be strong enough to injure a half-step void refinement realm expert with just a finger. What especially shocked Dong Su was Ning Fan's 25 divine transformation realm spiritual puppets. Among this batch of puppets, 17 were given by Dong Su, but 8 were not given by Dong Su. As for the other 8 spiritual puppets, it was obvious that Ning Fan already had them. The strongest among them was even at the half-step void refinement realm. Even a Dong Su realm being would not dare to underestimate it. It's only been 20 years, and this kid has actually become so powerful. If the alliance of Ming assassins hadn't angered him, he wouldn't have revealed his true strength. Nobody would know that he's already on par with the 7 venerables of the internal endless sea. After this battle, he will definitely become the 8th supreme being in the internal sea. Dong Su was shocked, and the others turned pale with fright. Zuotong felt a chill down his spine when he saw Ning Fan's finger. He was even more afraid of offending Ning Fan. A sense of defeat rose in Yun Niance's heart. This was the second time he felt that he was no match for Ning Fan. The first time was when he was defeated by Ning Fan's state of mind. The second time was when she was subdued by the strength of Ning Fan's sword finger. Yun Niancu sighed emotionally. If it wasn't for the fact that he was a low-grade 5th revolution pill master, perhaps he would no longer have the confidence to raise his head in front of Ning Fan. However, what Yun Niancu did not know was that even his pill refinement technique was inferior to Ning Fan's. Dong Xuanzi's immortal veins were all shattered and his cultivation base was nearly crippled by Ning Fan's finger. Landing heavily on the ground, Dong Xuanzi coughed out blood incessantly. Too strong. The strength of Ning Fan's single finger forcefully broke the combined attack of the 1,000,000 cultivators of the Alliance, the Dong Xian sword formation and Dong Xuanzi. The 1,000,000 Alliance cultivators suffered quite a bit due to the sword chi being broken. The 4,700 sword mountains on the Immortal Abode Island began to tremble violently. Ning Fan landed in Yingzhou. His eyes that were as sharp as a sword swept across the place coldly. Under his gaze, a few low-grade cultivators had their guts pierced through by his sharp gaze, causing them to be scared to death. When his gaze became extremely sharp, Ning Fan's sword sense swept across the area. A drop of thick ink fell on the immortal island of Ying province and turned into 10,000 black swords. As Ning Fan's sword sense spread out, each of the ink-black swords were like pitch-black lightning bolts, sweeping across the 4 directions with sharp cries. I, Shou, am here. If you want to assassinate me, feel free to fight me with your sword. Chi. As soon as he finished speaking, the black sword intent swept out in all directions. All the Alliance cultivators who were caught in the sword intent let out miserable screams as they were minced into meat paste. With a single thought, 10,000 cultivators lost their lives. With a sweep of 10 thoughts, 100,000 cultivators lost their lives. With a sweep of 100 thoughts, there were only a few thousand cultivators who could survive the sword thoughts. These thousands of cultivators were either nascent soul realm cultivators or late or peak gold core realm cultivators who had secret techniques to protect themselves. They had used all their strength to survive Ning Fan's sword sense. However, even if they did not die, most of them were severely injured. They were even more terrified of Ning Fan's spirit sense killing technique. Sword sense. Devil Lord Zhou Ming is actually proficient in the technique of sword sense. The technique of sword sense is best at killing people in a large area. If 1,000,000 cultivators were to stand in formation, they might not necessarily be afraid of the sword sense. However, this Devil Lord Zhou just happened to shatter the millions of sword lights and disrupted their formation. Once the formation is broken, no matter how many low-grade cultivators there are, they will just be slaughtered by the sword sense. Each of the surviving alliance cultivators had a twisted expression of fear. A few breaths ago, the immortal abode island was still filled with cultivators. After a few breaths, 1,000,000 cultivators were slaughtered by Ning Fan alone. Rumble, Ning Fan took a step forward. The ground and mountains on the island shook with his tremendous force. The baleful qi around his body was terrifying. Just the baleful qi alone was enough to disturb a divine transformation realm cultivator's mind. His eyes were as cold as ice and there was endless sword qi swirling around his body. Zigu, Luo Sen, Xiagu, and the other divine transformation realm cultivators were scared stiff when they saw Ning Fan's ferocious baleful qi. Fellow Daoist Dong Xian, quickly activate the sword formation. We must escape from the island. They were afraid. They wanted to run away. However, their words only made Dong Xuanzi sigh in despair and cough out blood again. I can't activate it. I can't activate it. Once the Eastern Profound Sword formation is activated, it will take at least 7 days to shut it down unless I use a secret technique to close it. It was not easy to form a sword into a formation, and it was even harder to escape by dispersing it. Once the formation is shut down forcefully, we will definitely be devoured by the sword formation. Those who enter the formation will be killed by the sword formation indiscriminately. My immortal veins were shattered by that Zhou Ming's finger. Right now, I can't use any of my magic power. I can't use the secret technique to shut down the formation. We can only fight Zhou Ming to the death. Within 7 days, we definitely won't have a chance to escape from Ming Island. What? Each of the divine transformation realm cultivators had the urge to curse. Shutting down the Eastern Profound Sword formation actually has so many restrictions. Doesn't this mean that the Eastern Profound Grand formation did not stop Ning Fan from entering the island at all? Moreover, it did not kill Ning Fan at all. It did not help at all. Instead, it helped the evildoer and trapped the divine transformation realm cultivators in Ning Island. Eastern Profound. Since you can't shut down the Grand Formation, why did you activate it to trap us in Ning Island and let Zhou Ming hunt us down? What are your intentions? Bullshit. How would I know that Zhou Ming would be able to enter the formation without breaking it? How would I know that my immortal veins would be shattered by that man's finger and I wouldn't be able to use the secret technique to shut the formation? How would I know that we would be trapped in Ning Island until we die? I still want to ask you, Luo Sen, what are your intentions? Why did you lure Zhou Ming to Ning Island? Are you trying to kill us all? Dong Xuanzi could not explain himself. The others began to argue with each other. Who would have thought that Ning Fan would easily enter the formation with a wind mist finger and force the divine transformation realm cultivators into a dead end? Shut up. What's the point of arguing? Now that things have come to this, we no longer have any way to escape or the chance to beg for mercy from Zhou Ming. Fortunately, Zhou Ming only entered the formation alone. He did not bring any of his spiritual puppets with him. If we fight him to the death, we might still be able to kill him. If you don't have the heart to fight him to the death, just wait to be defeated by Zhou Ming. Daoist Purple Goose spoke in a clear voice. His words calmed everyone down. Now that things had come to this, there was no way to escape. Sitting still and waiting for death would only lead to death. What's the point of holding someone accountable? After all, excluding Dong Xuanzi, they still had 16 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators and thousands of Gold Core Realm and Nascent Soul Realm cultivators on their side. If they fight Ning Fan to the death, they might still have a chance of survival. Fight! The dispute only lasted for a few breaths. During this period of time, Ning Fan held his sword and moved forward, passing through the encirclement of thousands of Gold Core Realm and Nascent Soul Realm cultivators. His footsteps were steady and his sword light was well controlled. Every time he swung his sword, the flesh and blood of tens of people would fly everywhere. Fresh blood dyed his white robes red. With Ning Fan as the center, corpses began to pile up in a circle. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. The cultivators of the alliance were begging for mercy and risking their lives. He did not care. The reason he came here was to destroy the alliance. Even if both sides fight to the death, it was just a battle to the death. What was there to be afraid of? Every time he took a step forward, countless cultivators of the alliance would retreat in fear and widen the distance between them. His back purposely revealed an opening. A few reckless Nascent Soul Realm cultivators wanted to sneak an attack from his back, but they were stopped by their companions. "Brother! Don't act recklessly. He's Zhou Ming. What's the use of sneak attacks on him? Once we get close to him, we will certainly be killed by him." One of the Nascent Soul Realm cultivators did not believe him. He unsheathed his sword and thrust it forward. However, just as his sword light was about 3 chi away, Ning Fan suddenly turned around. His cold eyes were like a peerless ferocious beast. Just a look from him actually made that Nascent Soul Realm cultivator so terrified that he could not move. This scene was just like a mortal scholar who saw a tiger or leopard in the deep mountains and was paralyzed with fear. "We can't drag this any longer. These juniors can't stop Zhou Ming. We can only rely on ourselves." Dong Xuanzi struggled to get up and ignited his primordial spirit. He swore to fight Ning Fan to the death at the cost of damaging himself. The other 16 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators also ignited their primordial spirits. All of them were ready to risk their lives. Yun Niance's heart was filled with astonishment. In the Rain World, how many people could force 17 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators to ignite their primordial spirits with their own strength? In Yun Niance's eyes, the current Ning Fan was like the Rain Palace's Sword Devil. That Rain Palace's Sword Devil was also a man with a sword. He walked alone in the midst of thousands of troops. Every time he swung his sword, someone would definitely die. That Rain Palace's Sword Devil had once fought against one of the 3 sovereigns of the Sword World and won with a single sword strike. That Rain Palace's Sword Devil ran amok in the Rain World. No sect dared to refuse him when he asked for something from them. White-robed sword god, Yun Tianjue. This Zhou Ming's spirit really resembles that person. Yun Tianjue dared to break the heavens with a sword in his hand. This Zhou Ming would definitely not lose to Yun Tianjue in the future. Yun Nianzu had only met Ning Fan twice and it was just a one-sided friendship. Ning Fan had never met Yun Nianzu before. After meeting Ning Fan twice, Yun Nianzu made up his mind to befriend Ning Fan after he massacred the entire Yang continent. He wanted to widen his eyes and see how much more shock this outstanding young man named Zhou Ming could give him. Kill. With Dong Xuanzi taking the lead, the other 3 early Divine Transformation Realm sword cultivators raised their swords and turned into 3 rays of sword light. Their bodies and swords became one and they pierced towards Ning Fan at lightning speed. Other than Dong Xuanzi, the other 2 were famous sword cultivators in the Eternal Endless Sea, the E-Sword Twin Devils of the Tai E-Sword sect. After burning their primordial spirits, the 3 of them attacked with all their might. The combined power of their attacks was not much weaker than a late Divine Transformation Realm cultivator's attack. However, before their swords could get close to Ning Fan moved his Separation Slayer sword. His sword light was so shocking that it shattered their natal flying swords. All of them coughed out blood and were sent flying away. When Ning Fan's sword light struck again, the physical bodies of the 3 of them were completely destroyed. Their primordial spirits were sealed and kept away by Ning Fan. Inside his storage pouch, there were already 3 Divine Transformation Realm primordial spirits, Lu Xian, Wang Kun, and Yu Gu. Including the three of them, he had already seized 6 primordial spirits. A motley crew dares to assassinate me? Roar! Ning Fan raised his head and roared into the sky. His roar turned into rays of sword waves. The hundreds of cultivators who were closest to him were directly killed by the sword waves. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. In his eyes, the encirclement of 3 semi-god realm cultivators was like child's play. The remaining 14 semi-god realm cultivators were still in shock. This time, no one dared to gang up on Ning Fan anymore. Surprisingly, all 14 of them attacked at the same time, displaying their strongest sword light. Of the 14 soul formation sword rays, 10 were at the early stage and 4 were at the middle stage. The joint attack of the 14 of them could even injure a peak divine transformation realm expert. However, in Ning Fan's eyes, the 14 rays of sword light were completely useless other than provoking his fury. Your sword light is mediocre, yet you dare to bully mortals. Ridiculous. Heart-drawing sword. Ning Fan's sword shone with profound light. His sword was so fast that it left no shadow and drew 14 semicircles. The sword intent around Ning Fan's body rose to its peak when the 14 sword attacks were launched consecutively. At the same time, the 14 semi-god realm cultivators felt their hearts being slashed by the sword. This great sense of crisis made 4 mid-divine transformation realm cultivators at the scene use their sword chi to protect their hearts. Only then were they able to withstand the sword attack from heart-drawing sword. As for the remaining 10 of them, their hearts were crushed and they were sent flying while coughing out blood. Their sword light was destroyed on its own. Puff! The joint attack of the 14 of them caused 4 of them to retreat while 10 of them coughed out blood. Yun Niansu's eyes were filled with shock. If he was not mistaken, Ning Fan's sword attack was clearly the secret sword technique of the divine sovereign of the sword world. Chapter 361. Despite the joint attack of the 14 divine transformation realm experts, 4 of them were defeated while 10 of them coughed out blood. Among the 10 divine transformation realm experts who coughed out blood, Daoist Purple Gu was one of them. Even though he had the advantage of having more people to share the burden of the sword power, he was still severely injured after his heart was crushed by Ning Fan's sword. Luo Sen and the other 3 mid-divine transformation realm experts used their sword chi to protect their hearts. That was why they were not injured. Even so, they were still defeated. Ning Fan continued to point his finger. The vast island, mountains and rivers, the vast sky and the dark sun all crumbled again. The first collapse and the second collapse. As soon as he pointed his finger, millions of sword light swept across all directions. Thousands of gold core realm experts and nascent soul realm experts died under his finger. Among the 14 divine transformation realm experts, 6 of them died tragically. Their primordial spirits and storage pouches were seized by Ning Fan. Among the 6 who died tragically, Luo Sen, who was a mid-divine transformation realm expert, was one of them. Spare me. Luo Sen's physical body collapsed, leaving only his primordial spirit. Together with the primordial spirits of the other 5 divine transformation realm experts, they were captured by Ning Fan's palm and their cultivation bases were sealed. Terrifying. Too terrifying. This Ning Fan was not just powerful. He was simply invincible. When his primordial spirit was captured by Ning Fan, Luo Sen trembled in fear. All he knew was to beg for mercy. However, how would Ning Fan feel the slightest bit of pity for his pleading? It's Luo Sen who single-handedly massacred Gusu City. He deserves to die. Ning Fan's eyes were indifferent. He flicked his sleeves and the primordial spirits of the 12 divine transformation realm experts were turned into threads by Ning Fan's sword intent. Then, he pierced through their shoulder blades, restrained their magic power and kept them in his sleeves. When the sword intent pierced through their primordial spirits, Luo Sen and the others felt an unbearable pain that penetrated their souls. Even with their ruthless nature as divine transformation realm devil cultivators, they could not help but cry out in pain. The remaining 8 divine transformation realm experts, including Purple Goo, were filled with despair. 17 divine transformation realm experts and 1 million cultivators of the Alliance besieged Ning Fan. In the end, only 8 of them were left. Divine Transformation Realm old ancestors who were considered as rare even in the Rain world were now pierced through by Ning Fan's sword intent. They were extremely humiliated. A warrior prefers death to humiliation. Xia Gu's teeth were chattering as he pointed his black sword at Ning Fan. However, those with discerning eyes could see that he was trembling. They knew that this dignified old ancestor of the Black Buddha sect was actually extremely afraid of Ning Fan. Fiendish demon. He had single-handedly created the Ying Island, killed millions of cultivators of the Alliance like ants and captured divine transformation realm cultivators like child's play. If he had known that Ning Fan was such a devil, Xia Gu would definitely not be willing to seek his own death and become enemies with him. Unfortunately, it was all too late. He had the intention to kill Ning Fan. This path of death was his own choice. But he was unwilling. Along the way, he had burned, killed, and plundered. Only then did he manage to cultivate to the mid-divine transformation realm and establish the massive Black Buddha sect. Xia Gu was unwilling to be humiliated by Ning Fan. Why? Your strength is clearly comparable to the 7 venerables of the internal endless sea. Why did you attack us ordinary semi-god realm cultivators? Zhou Ming, give us a reason. The evil bone let out an unwilling roar. However, its roar only made Ning Fan smile coldly. Reason? When the Alliance massacred Gusu, they gave Gusu a reason to do so. When he came to Yingzhou, when the Alliance was still powerful, why didn't they tell him the reason? Why did they just open the formation to kill him? Are you afraid? Are you trying to reason with me? How could there be such a good thing in the world? Reason? Can this be used as a reason? Ning Fan took out a gunny sack from Luo Sen's storage pouch. The sack was filled with women. Before it was opened, it gave off a strong fragrance of cosmetics. Inside the sack were 10,000 women that Luo Sen had abducted from Gusu. This is the reason why he wants to kill us. We were hunted down by Zhou Ming because Luo Sen abducted some mortal women. The 8 divine transformation realm experts were stunned. Even Yun Niansu and Zuotong felt puzzled. The lives of mortals were as cheap as ants. If they died, they died. If they were snatched, they were snatched. What's there to be angry about? Xia Gu was so angry that his teeth were chattering. He was a dignified mid-divine transformation realm cultivator, but because of those lowly mortals who were like pigs and dogs, he was hunted down by Ning Fan until he was neither a human nor a ghost. What kind of reason are mortals? What kind of reason are mortals? Xia Gu was not the only one. The other divine transformation realm experts also roared in dissatisfaction. At this moment, Ning Fan's heart was as hard as stone. How could he show mercy to his enemies? Well said. What kind of reason are mortals? I don't need a reason to kill. 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 Under the stimulation of the killing intent, his state of mind completely broke through to the early void refinement realm. It was not without reason that he wanted to kill them. However, if he had a clear conscience, why would he need to explain himself to anyone even if he had to face the scolding of the entire world? However, if his obsession did not change, Ning Fan would only have one kind of courage even if he had to face the alliance of millions of people. Even if there are millions of people, I will still go forward. Ning Fan took a step forward. His eyes were like a cold sword. The 8 divine transformation realm experts were shocked. They actually fled in 8 different directions of the Yingzhou Immortal Island. They had already given up their last resistance. It was not that they did not dare to risk their lives. It was just that the joint attack of the 14 of them was broken by Ning Fan with a single move. Now, there were only 8 of them left. How could they win? Even though the Yingzhou Immortal Island was sealed by the Eastern Profound Sword Formation and they could neither enter nor leave, the 8 of them were already frightened by Ning Fan. They could only flee for a moment. The Yingzhou Immortal Island was now a sea of blood. The Lingxiu immortal abode that was nourished by the sword's spiritual qi in the past was long gone. Stepping on the sea of blood and bones, Ning Fan's cold eyes swept across the place. His eyes were filled with mockery as he looked at the 8 people who were fleeing in different directions. A pair of fully purple wings stretched out behind his shoulders. Under the sunlight, they shone like crystals. Ning Fan's purple wings flapped and approached one of the 8 escaping divine transformation realm experts at an unimaginable speed. Fast. Too fast. His speed could even be ranked first among the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea. Gu He was one of the 2 mid-divine transformation realm experts of the demon sealing sect. He was also the 2nd elder of the sect. At this moment, he had another identity. He was the first person who was being chased by Ning Fan's purple wings. He ignited his primordial spirit and flew with all his might. He had already fled tens of thousands of li away. However, Ning Fan just flapped his purple wings and caught up to him. He raised his sword and the starlight sword shadow of the Separation Slayer sword drew a perfect arc in the sky. Impossible. How can your speed be faster than that of a venerated demon? Ah! Gu He let out a miserable shriek and was killed. The primordial spirit that was pierced by the sword thread was one more person. Ning Fan took a step forward. This time, he was chasing after the great elder of the demon sealing sect, Han Wei, who was at the mid-divine transformation realm. Han Wei was running for his life. All of a sudden, a trace of purple smoke appeared in front of him and captured Gu He in an instant. Han Wei's heart skipped a beat. A feeling of extreme danger filled his heart. Without waiting for Ning Fan to take action, Han Wei bit the tip of his tongue without hesitation and changed his demon form. It was actually a 10,000 zhang tall white tiger demon form. He was born in the demon sealing sect. Naturally, he was a member of the demon race and he cultivated the bloodline of the white tiger. Even though the bloodline was extremely thin, it was still considered as one of the true spirits. However, just as his demon form was formed, the purple star in Ning Fan's left eye flashed. The might of his ancestral bloodline merged with his sword light and he slashed at Han Wei. Before Han Wei could react, his demon body was crushed into minced meat. His demon soul was captured by Ning Fan, pierced through his shoulder blades and was tied to the sword thread. There are still 6 people left. Ning Fan's gaze fell upon Xie Gu. All of a sudden, Xie Gu, who had fled more than 10,000 li, felt a chill down his spine. An extremely uneasy feeling rose in his heart. A few breaths later, a trace of purple smoke suddenly appeared in front of him. His body and sword merged into one. In a flash, his figure penetrated Xie Gu's body along with the sword light. Puff! Xie Gu spurted out a mouthful of blood. At the next moment, his entire body was crushed into minced meat. There was one more primordial spirit on the sword thread. In just 10 breaths, only 5 of the 8 divine transformation realm cultivators were left. Moreover, the 3 that were killed were all mid-divine transformation realm cultivators. The remaining 5 were just early divine transformation realm cultivators. How could they have the strength to resist Ning Fan? I'm going all out against you. I don't believe that you dare to kill me. I don't believe that you dare to offend the demon-venerated realm. Zigu seemed to have gone mad. Together with the other 4 early divine transformation realm cultivators, they all rushed towards Ning Fan without any regard for their lives. They actually had the intention to self-destruct. They were afraid of death. However, at this moment, they were finally driven mad by Ning Fan's terrifying aura force. Zigu laughed maniacally with a twisted expression. That's right. He was not Ning Fan's match at all. However, he did not believe that Ning Fan would dare to kill him. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that you dare to offend the demon-venerated realm. Offend the master of my demon-sealing sect. Is that so? Ning Fan took a step forward and condensed his great force for 9 consecutive steps. Each of his steps caused the sword peak of the eastern profound sword formation to crumble. After the 9th step, his great force turned into a sword. The sword light was like a rainbow, sweeping towards Zigu and the others. Ah! 5 miserable cries resounded at the same time. The 9 divisions of Heaven Trampling sect were completely annihilated by Ning Fan. Ning Fan flicked his sleeve and 5 more primordial spirits appeared on the sword silk. In this battle, he managed to capture 20 primordial spirits of the Alliance. They were the perfect food for his spiritual puppets. His white robes had completely turned into a blood-red robe. His traveling light flashed continuously, collecting all the treasures in the Immortal Island sect and all the immortal jades in the formation eyes of the 4,700 sword peaks. After that, he took a step forward. The strength of that step was completely comparable to the strength of a cultivator at the 4th level of the Jade Life realm. Amidst the rumbling sounds, the Immortal Island sect crumbled one after another, turning into broken rocks that fell into the sea. The 4,700 sword peaks crumbled and turned into 4,700 traces of nascent soul realm sword chi. Ning Fan opened his mouth and sucked all of them into his sword consciousness, turning them into nourishment to strengthen his sea of consciousness. At this moment, all the cultivators of the Immortal Island sect were dead. None of the members of the Alliance of Ming Assassins survived. Suotong and Yun Niansu were overwhelmed with shock. Even old ancestor Dong Su's eyes were filled with astonishment. Zhou Ming's great force has been formed. He is now invincible in the Endless Sea. That was old ancestor Dong Su's evaluation of Ning Fan. Zigu was in despair. His primordial spirit had been invaded by Ning Fan and was pierced by the sword silk. Even though he was sure that Ning Fan would not dare to kill him, his cultivation base was declining rapidly as his injuries worsened. Let me go. If you don't want to be hunted down by the demon venerable, quickly let me go and follow me to the demon sealing palace in the internal sea to apologize. Hunted down by the demon venerable? You said that I will be hunted down by Lu Jifen. Would he dare to do that? Ning Fan sneered. Who is he? He is the ferocious devil of the external endless sea, Zhou Ming. He is the ferocious general of the Luoyun continent, Liu Bei. He is an existence who slaughters the entire star sea, sweeps the wolves and makes Lu Jifen tremble in fear. Would Lu Jifen dare to provoke him? Zhou Ming. Are you afraid? You must be extremely afraid of the demon venerable. I have once devoured a type of shadow-descending venomous insect and comprehended an innate ability called shadow-descending primordial spirit. By sacrificing my cultivation base and lifespan, I can summon the primordial spirit of the demon venerable. If you have the guts, ask me to summon the primordial spirit of the demon venerable. I don't believe that you won't be scared shitless when you see the demon venerables. The purple goo had probably burned its primordial spirit and turned its brain muddled. He was captured by Ning Fan and used as nourishment for the puppet. Even though he was about to die, he still had the audacity to threaten Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a cold light, but he sneered again. Is there such a secret technique? Very good. It couldn't be better if you could summon Lu Jifen. I'm waiting for him to give me an explanation. Ning Fan's words made the 20 captured Divine Transformation Realm cultivators, including Zigu, feel their hearts skip a beat. They knew that something was wrong. They were captured by Ning Fan and their bodies were pierced by the sword threads. Their last hope of survival was to hope that Ning Fan would not dare to kill them because he was afraid of the venerated demon lord. However, everyone could clearly hear a message from Ning Fan's tone. Not only was Ning Fan not afraid of venerated demon, but venerated demon was even afraid of Ning Fan. Is this even possible? Nonsense. Lord Demon Venerable is one of the 7 venerables of the internal sea. Why would he need to give you any explanation? Who do you think you are? The 8th venerable of the internal endless sea? Zigu did not believe it. He did not believe it. As for Ning Fan, he did not want to talk to him at all. He directly removed a trace of the seal on Zigu's cultivation base, giving him enough magic power to display the primordial spirit supporting one secret technique. If you can't summon a trace of Lu Jiefen's primordial spirit within 3 breaths, you will die. Good. Zhou Ming, you asked for this yourself. You can't blame me for this. Zigu's eyes flashed with a sinister smile. His palm-sized primordial spirit formed a hand seal, as if he was displaying some kind of bloodline secret technique. As soon as he displayed this secret technique, his cultivation base dropped rapidly. In an instant, he was only left with the cultivation base of the late nascent soul realm. His appearance also aged rapidly. In just an instant, he had lost 500 years of his lifespan. The price of this innate secret technique was extremely high. However, in terms of its profoundness, it was truly unimaginable. He could summon a trace of the venerated demon lord's primordial spirit from the internal endless sea to the external endless sea from a distance of 10 billion li. Whoosh! A purple flame swept across heaven and earth. That purple flame slowly condensed into an illusory middle-aged man in purple robes. His face was pale as if he had yet to recover from his injuries. However, his eyes were as sharp as an eagle's. His aura force had even reached the half-step void refinement realm. As soon as the purple-robed cultivator appeared, an immense pressure appeared in Dong Su's heart. Zuotong and Yun Niansu's expressions changed greatly and they exclaimed in shock. This purple-robed middle-aged man is the palace master of the demon sealing sect? Lu Jiefen was furious. He was attacked by the realm beast during his trip to the Star Palace. He barely managed to escape with his life, but his injuries were so severe that it was hard for him to recover. Thus, as soon as he returned to the internal endless sea, he immediately went into seclusion to heal his injuries. He did not even have the time to care about the mundane affairs of the demon sealing sect. Therefore, Lu Jiefen did not know about the existence of the Ming Assassin Alliance. He also did not know that his subordinates had offended the person whom Lu Jiefen did not want to offend the most, Ning Fan. Sensing the thin spiritual qi in the sea breeze, Lu Jiefen immediately knew that he was currently in the external endless sea. The reason why the illusory figure of his primordial spirit came to this place must be because of Zigu. Lu Jiefen had once told Zigu not to use the shadow descending technique to get him out of the stone chamber unless the demon sealing sect was in a life and death situation. To Lu Jiefen, there was nothing more important than healing his injuries. Zigu. Get out here. Where are you hiding? Why did you let the illusory figure of your primordial spirit come to the external endless sea? What happened? Lu Jiefen's displeased eyes swept across the place. At the next moment, he saw Ning Fan who was standing in the sky not far away. His heart immediately thumped. Zigu was being pierced by Ning Fan's sword silk and captured in his hand. Looking at Ning Fan's ice-cold eyes, Lu Jiefen's mind raced rapidly, thinking about all the possible scenarios that could have happened. After half a breath's time, he came to a conclusion: Zigu had offended Ning Fan. Zigu was captured. That's why he asked me to help him find trouble with Ning Fan. Fuck. This group of useless fellows. Of all the people they shouldn't offend, why did they offend Ning Fan? Is Ning Fan someone that I, Lu Jiefen, can fight against? Seeing Lu Jiefen's arrival, Dong Su narrowed his eyes. Even though the illusory figure of this primordial spirit projection technique descended, the illusory figure had the same strength as the true body. Fortunately, this illusory figure could only descend for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. Dong Su made up his mind to help Ning Fan fight against Lu Jiefen at any time. As one of the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea, Dong Su had dealt with Lu Jiefen countless times. He knew that this person was extremely shrewd and had extraordinary strength. Even Dong Su did not think that Ning Fan could defeat Lu Jiefen. At most, Ning Fan could only ensure that he would not be defeated. In Dong Su's eyes, Ning Fan had just gone through a bloody battle. His magic power and physical strength should be lacking. How could he be Lu Jiefen's opponent? As soon as Daoist Zigu saw his old ancestor descending, he immediately revealed a look of ecstasy. venerated demon, save us. Demon race, quickly kill Zhou Ming and avenge us. Avenge your mother. Lu Jiefan, a supreme being of the Fan clan, actually cursed. Zigu was stunned. Gu He and Han Wei were stunned. The other divine transformation realm experts were also stunned. Wasn't Lu Jiefan the savior that everyone was waiting for? Why did he scold us instead of Ning Fan? A moment later, something that Zigu and the others would never believe even if they were to die happened. Lu Jiefan's expression was complicated. He looked at Ning Fan, whose eyes were filled with a hint of fear. Who was Ning Fan? Even if Lu Jiefan was in his peak state, he would not be a match for Ning Fan alone. Not to mention that Lu Jiefan was currently severely injured and Ning Fan still had the help of 2 half-step void refinement realm spiritual puppets. How would Lu Jiefan dare to provoke Ning Fan at this moment? In other words, the person in the endless sea that he did not want to provoke the most was Ning Fan. Lu, no, revered Ming, please forgive me. Lu Jiefan was careless and didn't know how this subordinate provoked venerated Ming. If you want to kill or torture these people, I will listen to venerated Ming's orders. Hiss. The savior of Zigu and the others, the dignified supreme being of the internal sea, Lu Jiefan, was actually begging for mercy from Ning Fan. Shock appeared in Dong Su's eyes. Was the Lu Jiefan in front of him really the arrogant master of the demon sealing temple that Dongshu knew? This arrogant old monster was actually begging for mercy from a junior? It seemed like it was not the first time Lu Jiefan and Ning Fan had met. What exactly did Ning Fan do in the past 20 years that even Lu Jiefan was terrified of him? Su Qiling's beautiful eyes flickered. This was the man that she fancied. In front of him, the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea were like fireflies compared to the bright moon. They were not even worth mentioning. Chapter 362. The dignified lord of the demon sealing sect, Lu Jiefan, was actually asking for forgiveness from Ning Fan. This scene was definitely more shocking than Ning Fan defeating Lu Jiefan with his combat power. If Ning Fan defeated Lu Jiefan after going through a tough battle, outsiders could still think that Lu Jiefan's injuries were too severe and explain everything clearly. However, Lu Jiefan immediately came up and asked for forgiveness. This was too unimaginable, impossible to explain at all. It might be possible to defeat one of the injured 7 supremes of the internal endless sea. How was it possible for one of the 7 supremes of the internal endless sea to beg for forgiveness? Why does venerated demon lord have to be afraid of Ning Fan? What happened between them? Too many people wanted to know the answer. However, Ning Fan would not tell them and Lu Jiefan would not mention it either. Lu Jiefan. Let me ask you, you ordered your subordinates to establish an alliance to assassinate me, Zhou Ming. Is this true? Ning Fan's voice was like a clap of thunder, causing a series of tremors in Lu Jiefan's heart. What? Venerated Ming is saying that Zigu and the others have used the name of the demon sealing sect to establish an alliance to assassinate venerated Ming, intending to assassinate him. They were really stupid. How stupid. Lu Jiefan looked at Zigu's primordial spirit with burning anger. He returned injured. He did not know that in the 20 years that he was gone, Zigu and the rest had done such a crazy thing. Establish an alliance to assassinate Ming? Killing Ning Fan with just a dozen early and mid-divine transformation realm experts. What a joke. Who was Ning Fan? He was a ruthless person who had killed countless divine transformation realm experts with his own hands. He was an existence who killed Tan Lang's separated souls like ants. Lu Jia had not even fully recovered from his burns. How would he dare to offend Ning Fan at this critical moment? Lu Jiefan's expression became tense. If Ning Fan insists on pursuing Lu Jiefan's responsibility and kills his way all the way to the demon sealing palace in the internal sea, even though Lu Jiefan has a life-saving method to escape, he might still be injured. Moreover, if he ran away from the endless sea, the foundation of his life in the endless sea would be ruined. Revered Ming, please calm down. The alliance of the Ming assassins was definitely not my intention. It was the audacity of my subordinates. Heaven and earth can bear witness to this. Since it was my servant who made a mistake, I am responsible for my negligence. I hope that venerated Ming can give me a chance to make up for it. I will definitely give you a generous gift that will satisfy venerated Ming. Lu Jiefen's tone was almost pleading. He begged Ning Fan to let the demon sealing sect go. He begged Ning Fan to believe that he, Lu Jiefen, had nothing to do with this matter. The heavens have pity on him. He, Lu Jiefen, could not wait to be afraid of Ning Fan. Why would he seek trouble for himself? Zigu was about to go crazy. He felt that he had definitely gone crazy. If he wasn't crazy, how could he have witnessed the demon venerable begging for mercy from others? Impossible. I don't believe it. This isn't real. The demon sealing sect is one of the 7 major forces of the internal endless sea. Lord Demon Venerable is one of the 7 venerables of the internal endless sea. It's impossible for us to beg you for mercy. Impossible. Zhou Ming. You're lying to me. You are using an illusion technique to deceive me. I don't believe it. Zigu seemed to be laughing and crying at the same time. He could not accept this reality. He could not accept the fact that Ning Fan, whom he regarded as an ant, was actually a terrifying figure who could make even a venerated demon lord bow and kneel before him. Suddenly, Zigu recalled his words earlier. Zhou Ming, don't be so arrogant. Do you think you're the 8th venerable one of the internal endless sea? The 8th venerable of the internal endless sea. The 8th venerable of the internal endless sea. Zhou Ming's strength was far more than the 8th venerable of the internal endless sea. Even though he had not been bestowed the sovereign tomb, he was able to make a venerable demon yield. His strength was probably among the top few among the 7 venerable demons. I've offended such a ruthless person. I'm really stupid. Really stupid. Looking at Zigu who had gone mad and the other 2 mid-divine transformation realm elders, Lu Jiefen's heart was filled with sorrow. They were his subordinates. However, he did not dare to ask to save them from Ning Fan's hands. Lu Jiefen knew that it was impossible for Ning Fan to give him face. This young man was cruel and merciless. Once he becomes Ning Fan's enemy, he would certainly kill him. The only thing that Lu Jiefen hoped for was that Ning Fan would not pursue the responsibility of the other members of the demon sealing sect. Otherwise, if Ning Fan invades the internal endless sea, the demon sealing sect would certainly be destroyed and he, Lu Jiefen, would have no choice but to use his secret technique again to escape from Ning Fan's pursuit just like how he escaped from the realm beast previously. That would be the worst outcome. Venerated Ming, please give me a chance to compensate for what I've done. No matter what, I'm a supreme being who walked out of the sovereign tomb. Besides, I've also received a reward from that lord. I definitely have a lot of good things. I'm sure venerated Ming will be satisfied. Lu Jiefen felt helpless. All he could do was to hint at Ning Fan with his words. Compensation, huh? Ning Fan frowned, secretly thinking about the deeper meaning behind Lu Jiefen's words. Sovereign tomb. Is he referring to the tomb of the Thunder Sovereign in the internal endless sea? Who is that lord? Since Lu Jiefen addressed him as lord, could he be a void fragmentation realm expert? After all, there were many secrets in the internal endless sea that Ning Fan had yet to come into contact with. The strangest thing was that the endless sea would actually appear under the Rain World's realm law. Perhaps there was some powerful being hiding in that place that even the Rain Palace would be afraid of and not dare to use the realm law again. Someone who could make the Rain World so afraid of him must at least be at the void fragmentation realm. Lu Jiefen's words undoubtedly confirmed Ning Fan's guess. Lu Jiefen was hinting to Ning Fan that it was fine to make a scene in the external endless sea, but if he enters the internal endless sea, he must restrain himself a little. Otherwise, he might offend some void fragmentation realm experts. Judging from Lu Jiefen's tone, it was not a threat. Instead, it was more like a friendly reminder. Interesting. Seeing that the alliance of Ming assassins was not your intention, I have no choice but to let you go. Lu Jifen, I'll give you a chance. If you can take out a treasure that satisfies me, the demon sealing sect can survive and not be destroyed. If you can't, the next time I enter the internal endless sea will be the day the demon sealing sect is destroyed. Ning Fan gave Lu Jifen a deep look and gave him a warning. The internal endless sea was vast and the demon sealing sect was far away. It was not realistic for them to kill their way into the internal endless sea. Besides, there might be a void fragmentation realm expert hiding in the internal endless sea. In a sense, this void fragmentation realm expert had supported the demon sealing sect. It was not that Ning Fan was afraid of the hidden void fragmentation realm expert. However, before everything was clear, there was no need for him to go against such an expert. No matter how arrogant Ning Fan was, he would not take the initiative to provoke a void fragmentation realm expert. Showing off his abilities did not mean that he would use an egg to break a rock. He had already taken revenge for Gu Su by destroying the Ying province. After killing 20 divine transformation realm experts, the ferocious aura he accumulated was enough to make all the forces in the endless sea fear him and not dare to provoke him. Especially when Lu Jifen begged Ning Fan for mercy today. Once this matter spreads, perhaps no one would have any thoughts about Ning Fan anymore. Sovereign Tomb. That lord, only after figuring out all of these would Ning Fan decide the fate of the demon sealing sect. Pieces of broken rocks slowly sank to the bottom of the sea. After getting Ning Fan's reply, Lu Jifen felt slightly relieved. He dispersed his descending shadow primordial spirit and left without staying any longer. He did not care about the lives of Zi Gu and the others at all. Ning Fan nodded at Zhuo Tong and glanced at Yun Niansu with a strange expression. Then, he descended to Gusu's city together with Dong Su. Gusu was already in ruins, and mountains of corpses and seas of blood covered the entire place. It wasn't like the paradise it was all those years ago. 2/3 of the 1 million mortals in Gusu's city were slaughtered by Luo Sen and the other two devils. If it wasn't for him who arrived in time, perhaps even 1/3 of them wouldn't be left alive. Ling Er, is your fourth uncle's condition getting better? Ning Fan's eyes were filled with gentleness. He would only show this expression to Su Qiuling. His enemies would not be able to enjoy it. Their injuries have been suppressed. It's all thanks to the miraculous elixir that Big Brother gave them. It's just that the injuries on their bodies can be healed, but how can the injuries in their hearts be healed? They are destined to never be mortals again. Su Qiuling's eyes were filled with sadness. Then, don't be a mortal anymore. Ning Fan fell into silence. Back then, he was also a mortal and was bullied and humiliated in the Joyful Union sect. He was unwilling to die in the All-Joyful Union sect. He was unwilling to be bullied and oppressed. Thus, he chose to cultivate and resist. Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out a sack made of coarse cloth. He shook the sack and released several mortal women. He closed his eyes. Traces of rain lingered in his heart. On the other hand, dark clouds gradually rose above the island of Gusu City. Drizzles of rain fell from the sky, extinguishing the flames of war and washing away the bloodshed into the soil. Young Master Zhou, no, Immortal Zhou, thank you. If it wasn't for you, I would have, already. Bai Su bowed. If it wasn't for Ning Fan, she would certainly have lost her chastity to Wang Kuan. You don't have to thank me. Just call me young master. I should be the one thanking you. If it wasn't for you telling me to stick to the sword, if it wasn't for the basket of eggs you gave me and if it wasn't for you preparing food and wine for me every day for the past 5 months, I wouldn't be able to experience the happiness of a mortal again. Ning Fan stood in the rain for a very, very long time. He was waiting for more onlookers to come to him. For the next half a month, Ning Fan did not stop at Gusu's misty rain at all. The people of Gusu buried their loved ones and rebuilt their thatched huts. In the past half a month, many golden core cultivators and nascent soul cultivators had gone to Yingzhou to watch the show. There were even semi-god realm cultivators from the inner ocean who heard about the changes in the outer ocean and secretly came to investigate. It was just that their flying light was too slow and they arrived too late. They could only see the ruins of Immortal Abode Island and Gusu's misty rain. Under the gazes of countless cultivators of the external endless sea, Ning Fan carried the primordial spirits of 20 divine transformation realm cultivators in his hands while 25 divine transformation realm spiritual puppets stood beside him. In front of countless cultivators, Ning Fan searched the souls of the 20 divine transformation realm primordial spirits one by one and fed them to his spiritual puppets. It was not only to upgrade the puppets' level, but also to send a warning to the endless sea. He, Ning Fan, must not be provoked. To the countless spectating cultivators, it was impossible to describe how terrifying that scene was. After Ning Fan searched the souls of the 20 divine transformation realm primordial spirits, he fed them to the spiritual puppets. That was a divine transformation realm old monster. Yet, he was treated like this by Ning Fan. This man is truly a madman. A few days later, Ning Fan transformed into his true form of a giant and carried Gusu on his shoulder, all the way to the sea region that was not far away from the Pleasure Devil Immortal Island. It was easy to imagine how much of an uproar it would cause in the outer endless sea and even the inner endless sea after this crazy massacre. Of the 10 sects and 3 islands in the outer seas, 1 sect and 1 island had been destroyed, leaving only 9 sects and 2 islands. Among the cultivators of the internal endless sea, 18 semi-god realm cultivators had died. The forces that these semi-god realm cultivators belonged to had all declined. For example, after the Black Buddha sect lost all their semi-god realm cultivators, they were immediately destroyed by their enemies and their territories were divided. This was the reality of the cultivation world. A single misstep would result in the death of one's entire clan. This time, the endless sea finally understood that the ominous devil Zhou Ming was back. These were just changes in the situation. What caught people's attention the most was, of course, Ning Fan's ferocious reputation. It was the first time he was so strong that even the internal sea was afraid of him. The 8th venerated lord of the internal endless sea, revered Ming, Zhou Ming. Almost no one doubted that Ning Fan had the strength to go against the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea. Lu Jiefen's begging for mercy shocked many people. Giant Demon Island, Silver Snow City. A white-haired young lady was leisurely swinging on a swing, standing aloof from worldly affairs. Beside her, several experts with strong chi were reporting something to a burly man with a black face. After listening to his master's report, the burly man's eyes flashed and he burst into laughter. His aura force was so strong that ordinary semi-god realm cultivators did not dare to approach him at all. Good. 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 You're indeed a talent that little Shan Zi has taken a liking to. You're indeed the inheritor of Mo Luo's inheritance. The 8th venerated being of the internal sea, huh? You have guts and a temper. I like you. Sword Island, Sword Tomb. In the main hall, venerated Sword stood with his hands clasped behind his back while listening to the report from his subordinates. Zhou Ming, huh? This young man is really powerful. He actually killed 20 semi-god realm cultivators and 1 million cultivators all by himself. His sword intent is really domineering. Is it the immortal trapping sword intent? It seems like the fragment of the immortal trapping sword that old man Dong Su got from me in the past has fallen into his hands. Sword sense, sword intent, sword turning into silk. The younger generation will surpass us in time. Venerated Sword slowly turned around and looked at one of his subordinates with a solemn expression. Guan Xiong. You've met Zhou Ming at the Pleasure Devil Sea auction. What's your impression of him? Is it possible for you to befriend him? Venerated Sword. This person has a fierce and ruthless character. However, he rarely takes the initiative to cause trouble. In my opinion, Sword Island must not provoke him no matter when. After all, who can guarantee that he won't go missing again and return 20 years later as a Void Refinement Realm cultivator to avenge the past and eliminate the old enemies? This person must not be provoked. Is that so? Venerated Sword nodded and said no more. Demon Island, Demon Ceiling Palace. Lu Jiefan suppressed his injuries and forcefully went into seclusion. He ordered the entire sect not to provoke Ning Fan anymore. At the same time, Lu Jiefan activated all the defensive formations of the Demon Island, raising the alert level to the highest. I hope this Zhou Ming won't act rashly and invade the Demon Island. Otherwise, I can only flee. Lu Jiefan helplessly closed his eyes. After arranging everything, he sent someone to the external Endless Sea to deliver a huge gift to Ning Fan. Then, he went into seclusion to heal his injuries again. Dan Xia Palace, Pill Island. In the past half a year, Yang Gu had returned to the internal Endless Sea and gathered many of his old friends to head to the external Endless Sea to support Ning Fan's master. He wanted to help Ning Fan destroy the alliance of Ming assassins. After traveling for a long time and paying a huge price, he managed to invite 5 early Divine Transformation Realm experts and 1 mid-Divine Transformation Realm expert. Even though these people came to help Ning Fan, they were hesitant after hearing that the alliance of Ming assassins was powerful. Therefore, the matter of sending out reinforcements was delayed again and again. Before they could leave to support Ning Fan, a shocking news had already spread from the external Endless Sea. Ning Fan alone had flattened the entire Ying province and killed 1 million cultivators and 20 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators. Master is actually so powerful. He killed 20 Divine Transformation Realm cultivators all by himself. Yang Gu's words were filled with excitement. However, it made each of the Divine Transformation Realm cultivators who came to help Ning Fan feel overwhelmed with shock and regret. What a blunder! What a blunder! If they knew that Yang Gu's master was so powerful, they naturally wouldn't have so many concerns and would have already set off to the external Endless Sea. As a result, the opportunity to help Ning Fan and win his favor was lost just like that. Fellow Taoist Yang, if your master needs help next time, you must ask me for help. After this battle, I really admire revered Ming very much. You really deserve to be the 8th venerated being of the internal sea. These people began to flatter Yang Gu. However, all they got in return was Yang Gu's displeased reply. Humph. I hope everyone can act faster next time. Don't wait until the battle is over before sending out reinforcements. Hee hee. Of course. Of course, in the external Endless Sea, on the Penglai Immortal Island. In the Lost World Tower, a young lady in red robes was frowning tightly. Her cultivation base was at the early Divine Transformation Realm. At this moment, a messenger flying sword flew into the tower using a secret technique. It was Ning Fan's information. Listening to Ning Fan's shocking battle achievements, the cold eyes of the young lady in red robes suddenly flashed with a hint of brilliance. Humph. Stinky rascal, you've finally returned after disappearing for 20 years. Didn't I say that you, Zhou Ming, big rascal Zhou, are stronger than Ning Fan and Liu Bei? My sister and mother didn't believe it. Humph. Are there any of the outstanding geniuses that they admire as strong as you? You can kill 20 Divine Transformation Realm experts all by yourself. The young lady in red robes revealed a complacent expression, as if she was the one who made the glorious battle achievements instead of Ning Fan. Hee hee. You've obtained quite a lot of benefits from annihilating the Ying province. Perhaps you're going to enter seclusion in the Lost World Palace. This time, I won't lose to you easily. I must snatch Grandpa's stone soldier back from your hands in an above-board manner. Last time, I came to deal with the matter. This time, I will be very serious. Bei Xiaomun's eyes flashed with a hint of strange light. It was unknown if it was because of her battle intent or some other thoughts. Her small face blushed for no reason. In the Zhou mansion on Gusu Island, everything needed to be rebuilt. Under Su Qiling's care, Bai Su and her son's complexion was getting better day by day. Ning Fan was sitting cross-legged in his room. His mind was replaying the bloody battle that he had just gone through. His heart was filled with enlightenment. In front of him, there were many visiting cards and gift lists. Of course, They were gifts from the forces that wanted to curry favor with Ning Fan. With Ning Fan's current powerful status, there were naturally many people who wanted to visit him. Ning Fan accepted all the gifts that these forces gave him. He did not reject any of them. As for meeting the guests, he left all of them to Yulong to handle. Among the countless visiting cards, there was only one that caught Ning Fan's attention. Yun Niansu. This person's surname is Yun. Could he be someone from the Rain Palace? This person claims that he has already entered the Pill Island. If fate allows it, he hopes to meet me in the Eternal Endless Sea and introduce me to the experts of the Rain Palace. Ning Fan shook his head and put down the visiting card. To be honest, he was not very interested in befriending the geniuses of the Rain Palace. The Divine Space Island, the Giant Devil Island and the Pill Island in the Eternal Endless Sea were the 3 islands that he must visit. Before entering the Eternal Endless Sea, he must settle down some of his old friends first. His magic power and cultivation base also needed to improve. His demon power and devil chi were both at the mid-divine transformation realm, but his magic power was still at the half-step divine transformation realm. It had already become Ning Fan's shortcoming. Other than that, Ning Fan also needed to ask old ancestor Dong Su about the secrets of the Eternal Endless Sea. If there is really a void fragmentation realm expert guarding the Eternal Endless Sea, he must be more cautious when he enters it. After doing all these, I can go home. Shiha, the smiling faces of women appeared in front of Ning Fan's eyes. After all these years, he did not know how they were doing. Just as he was deep in thought, the sound of gentle footsteps came from outside his room. Big brother, something bad has happened. It was Su Qiuling's voice which carried a hint of panic. What's wrong? Did something happen? Ning Fan's eyes frowned, feeling a little worried. It's Master. Master. He has touched the bottleneck of the void refinement realm. He suddenly announced that he is going into seclusion to break through to the void refinement realm. It turned out that this little girl's panic was caused by surprise. Void refinement realm. Ning Fan's eyes flashed. To Dong Su, this was actually a good thing. If Dong Su succeeds in breaking through to the next cultivation realm, it would probably be enough to cause a greater commotion in the Endless Sea. Is the first void refinement realm expert among the 7 venerated beings of the Eternal Endless Sea going to be born? You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.